host, but you're the host with the mostest. Well, we should be live now. It is 2 o'clock. Nothing's wrong with the mic. Nothing's wrong with anything that I see. So we should be live. Everything should be good. I'm going to go change the fucking title, and the tags and hashtags should already be good. We are going to definitely have to talk about some topics that I didn't write down before I forget. Maybe Adam don't even know them either. Gotta figure out where the settings are for this. The themes. It will be themes, not fucking settings.
Ryan. Ryan. Ryan.
What's up, man?
Ryan, my fault. I need a favor. Right quick. Get in contact with Dealer, man, because I don't know how to do this shit. We can't get him on Discord for some reason. Get it? Can you send?
Yeah, we need to know what the correct capitalization and spelling of his Discord name is. That's it. So if you could tell him to send it like a screenshot and
He said it's expired. Ryan, can you please just do?
okay.
Every time he because Dealer sent me a thing saying that it's expired. He said that the thing that we sent him was expired.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get it to him as fast as possible. That's what I'm doing. Let me go and send him another message. I just created one using the computer this time, so let's see if that works. Okay, let me see if this one works. This one looks different. This one he might get in on this one. That code looks different. I'm using the code from the computer, so okay, let me go check that out real quick. Okay, edit invite link. Oh, there we go. Expire, never, select, like no limit. Okay, and then generate new link and copy this one. Okay, let me see if this one works. This one might work for him. This is the same link code that I've been sending him the last 3 times. That's fucking weird. No, I mean that's what I'm saying. I already sent him 2 links with the same code earlier from the never expire. He said he was having issues before. Let me see if he get in here now. Well, let me go set this name and shit and do all this other stuff.
He sent you a message?
Yeah, before I sent him the new link, he was saying that Discord's having weird issues. Hey man, can you send that to me on Discord? He has a space. He does have a space in his name on Discord. So maybe I gotta go. Yeah, that's probably what is messing up. I didn't know you could have a space on Discord. Nah, he says dealer, and then there's a space, and then gaming, and then he puts the hashtag, and then the numbers. Yeah, I didn't know you could do all. I didn't know you were supposed to have a space. So I was asking Big Money. Big Money said it was he could have a space. Let me see. How do I get? No, you got you. Okay, there we go. Friends. Add friend. paste. There we go. All good.
Oh, he's a beast, man.
What?
This dude here, man. This dude right here, man. This dude.
What guy?
I'm gonna call you this dude. I'm gonna call you this dude.
Oh, got you. Got Dilla Gamer in here. Shoot.
I know Diller like, man, what the fuck is going on over there?
Okay, let me go send him an invite.
Is he in here? What's up, Diller?
About to,
Can you hear me? Is he in the Discord?
I added him on Discord. So all I gotta do is go and just say, oh, they say nobody found that. Let me just come on, can y'all stop with the trolling until he gets in here, man, so I can focus. I just added him as a friend.
Hold on. Yo, what's up, y'all? Yo, what's going on,
What
Jay?
do you mean?
Yo, it's me, Big Money. J Love.
I'm here.
Oh, what's up?
Focus on getting Dilla in here real quick, man, because this.
Dilla who? Dilla Gaming?
Yeah, hold on, J Love. Just let me focus and get this
I'm
guy
gonna tear
in.
that motherfucker up.
Okay.
Oh, good. Please, man, don't do that. Goddamn, we're trying to get people to come to the thing, J Love.
Okay.
We don't want to get them away. Goddamn.
Okay, so how do I get a fucking new link in this bitch?
Brian,
I gotta go give this. I gotta go
Brian.
do the link again. Give it to him on Discord. We'll make it progress though. We're making progress. Now copy that.
Oh.
No, I already got him. I got him on the messenger on fucking Discord. So we made progress because I added him.
Did you send him a message?
Yes, I sent him the message on Discord of the link. No, I add him as a friend, and he says, okay, shoot it here. I said, okay, I just copied the link, and I just literally just sent him the link. So we're going to see when he joins. Okay, there we go.
Oh, Lord. Diller.
There are two competing.
Oh, okay. All you gotta do is just jump in the chat.
I missed it when Crap was here, man. When Jay had Crap, I wanted that.
Okay,
man.
well
I
let me
missed it.
change this damn title and all of this shit because it's not the debate. This is the fucking.
We gonna switch over. Come on, Ryan. You come in. Jeez.
Big Money, you ain't
All
want
right.
shit, bro. Yeah,
JayTech, man, drives me crazy, bro.
Bro, you saying it like it was my fault, man. Shoot, I didn't know you could have a space in your name on Discord. I didn't know that shit.
Okay.
Damn, man, you acting like I'm supposed to know this shit.
What's happening? What's going on?
Diller?
Yo.
Diller?
Okay.
Fucking confusing.
You got Dilla Gainer.
What's happening?
What's
Sorry,
going
I
on,
had
bro?
some technical issues.
Yeah.
You okay, man? It's him, man. It's this dude right here, Diller.
It's nice
His
to
name
finally
is
talk to you,
Jay.
Big Money. Yeah.
Yeah, man. How you doing, bro? How you doing, man?
I feel like Tom
I
Hanks lost in
appreciate it,
translation.
bro. I
Like,
really
fucking
do.
2:00. I'm like, what time? And I'm fucking out and about and trying to figure things
Yeah,
out. And,
I know. Hey, man, I really do appreciate you coming through, man. I really do, man. Like you know what? You know what, Dylan? Oh, wait a minute. Are we live yet, Jay? Are we live?
Bro, you know we started 2:00. They've been listening to all this crap.
I got my popcorn, so this better be good.
what's going on?
Oh,
Big
shut
Club?
up.
What's up, bro?
Yeah. Hey, man. No, I just want to say, man, I contact a lot of people. Dylan, you ever heard of that one thing, millionaires rub shoulders with millionaires? And I found that not to be true in this gaming community because I'm not going to lie to you. I really thought it was going to be a long shot to get you on here, but every message I sent you, you always answer, man. And I have to congratulate you on that because you're a real dude. And I like that. I really love the way you present yourself on Twitter and on here because I'm not going to lie. When you first started off, I was kind of shaky. I was like, no, let me see what'll happen if I invite him. Like, and your boy too. He hit me back too. It was hard. We was trying to set things up because I know he's busy. I know y'all be busy with y'all podcasts and everything. But I'm rambling on. But thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No,
JayTech driving me crazy as hell, man.
It's no big deal. I've done, Ryan's podcast. I don't get a lot of invites to Sony shows for some reason. So, we might
know why.
You know what the biggest problem is too? You got a community that constantly lies and spreads bullshit about people, and spreads stuff that's not true. So there's I've heard so many things about people. I'm sure on this show, and I'm sure you've heard all kinds of crazy shit about me. And 90% of it on both sides isn't true. We're all just kind of gamers.
But Dylan, let me ask you a question, man. I'm J Love. I was the one that was terrorizing your your live chats, man. But
okay.
let me ask you something, man, because you blocked me a couple of times. What made you change since 2014? When your first video, what made you change?
The number one thing is 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years.
5 years to do it.
Like that's kind of another thing is when you're sitting there using Upload Studio 5 years ago to make YouTube videos to kind of fight back against a lot of the bullshit around the platform you might prefer. I'm a little bit more of a fanboy mindset back then, like fuck these guys, they're all fucking shitting on everything that I actually like. I'm gonna get on the internet and talk about it and piss them off.
Yeah.
So
sounds like JayTech actually.
Yeah, so that's the thing though. Some people have come forward in 5 years, and some people are stuck in the fucking mud. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
That's good, man. That's good. And you know what? The thing is, the thing is about that, man. I can recognize everybody because I don't know if you know what's that guy named Muscle Bound Gamer. He looked like he did say Salty Gaming. I've talked to him. Hopefully, I hope. I had him. He was gonna come to the show, but something came up. Shout out to Salty Gamer, but man, listen, man, like that, and basically, I think it's a lot of people out there that don't like other people's opinions, and they don't respect their opinion. Even if I don't like your opinion, I still can sit down and have a conversation with you. If it turned into an argument, I still can sit down and talk to you like a human being without me not disliking you. And I think this gaming community has came further ever before with because I never thought that I would ever see the day when I seen JayTechTV and Crap Gamer on the same podcast, but it happened.
Yeah, but the problem is though, what Dill is saying is that you got dudes that's frauds and lying. See, the problem I have with Dealer and these other frauds is that, let me ask you this, Dealer, who's toxic? Who's more toxic in the gaming community?
Look, I gotta answer. I gotta steal that.
No, Dealer. I'm asking Dealer. Who's more toxic? You think the Xbox fanboys or PlayStation fanboys?
Depends. I mean, is it someone like you who are going out of your way to attack people and you end up getting blocked, or is it just a random fuckface that's saying "fuck you"? Xbox has more power right now. Define it, because there's a big difference.
Well, let me set an example. You got dudes burning consoles, saying they're overheating. You got people that's urinating on consoles. You got people that's sending death threats through Twitter.
Who's doing that though?
Oh,
I mean, I know there was this guy T-Reaper.
Who's doing that?
There was a guy T-Reaper with R. Kelly on a PS4. I know that, but I don't know too much other people.
Links. You got Mooch saying, "I hope Sony dies."
Ew.
Who's doing that shit?
I don't know. I guess
doing that shit, man.
I'm responsible for me.
But you know what, Jay? I don't think that's you can put that as a PlayStation, Xbox guy, man. You can't put that. No. You know what? I done seen many guys on here. I did it myself, and I will tell you the truth. Why I act like an Xbox guy and said something like an Xbox guy.
What, you been sending death threats over a piece of plastic? You've been sending death threats over a piece of plastic?
I didn't say I said death threat. What I'm saying is I'm answering, kind of break off what your question is to Dealer. I just don't want to come on here.
Again, though, I'm not friends with a single person that's ever sent a death threat over the internet, so I don't even know who you're talking about.
Oh, you got dudes like Smokey Dog.
Who?
You got your boy, Smokey Dog. Like Smokey Dog, he got.
Isn't he a PlayStation guy?
I guess.
He's a what gets me views guy. He's not into anything, so I wouldn't
He
use
just
him.
trolls though.
You gotta remember too. I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter. I might tweet once or twice a day if I'm lucky. I don't pay attention to a lot of people like Smokey Dog or the fuck that is.
Right, he just trolls though. It's like making fun. I mean, anybody, you know, it's like playing around. But if you take it to that level where I'm gonna kill your family, or I got your family in sights, then that's taking it to a whole new level.
Course.
You know what I'm saying? That's taking it to a whole new level.
Block Smokey Dog if he's fucking death threatening people. I mean, why not? Who cares? It's not.
No, right,
Here's the thing.
Oh, boy.
You're not obligated to give anybody access to your life. If I don't want to hear someone's stupid fucking opinion or see some political shit, I'm out. See you later, bitch. Like I don't have to sit there and listen to you. So just block them and it's over.
So you block somebody for a different opinion?
Oh, if it's something like a death threat or some shit, of course.
Look, J Love, let me cut in here real quick. I agree with Dealer, bro. Like I've blocked over now 8 million people. Right? It's a lot.
Trigger finger.
But long story short, a lot of people have been blocked. Right? Most of the time it's the weirdo PC fans with anime pictures that don't actually buy or play games. Okay, they want to brag about having access to a game, but don't.
Their favorite game is Twitter, basically. Their favorite game is Twitter, basically.
Their favorite game is Twitter, exactly. Their favorite game is Twitter. Their favorite game is the comments section inside of your YouTube videos or live streams. But outside of that, not only do they not have a life, not only do they not. They're not mature enough or old enough to have a job. They don't contribute to gaming at all. Whether it's the brotherhood that is the gaming community where everybody is gaming. We might be in different factions or different sides, but we are gaming. When Gears came out, I know you were playing it. I know Crap Gamer was playing it. I know Mooch. I know Tim Dog. I know you guys were playing it. When Horizon Zero Dawn came out, I know we were playing it. I know Spider-Man and God of War. When it came out, we were playing it. We were showing off pictures. We were doing the fanboy shit, but we were playing it. And my problem, as of late over the last 3 years, being targeted by the PC community is the individuals inside of the PC community that now make up the current generation of the PC community that don't actually play games. You know, so, you know, that's my problem. I've gotten death threats from them. I haven't gotten a death threat from Xbox fans since last generation before any of you guys existed. I know I sound young, and I might be younger than a lot of you guys, but I was around last gen, all of last gen. And, yeah, I haven't got any death threats from the Xbox community at all this gen. I've gotten about 4 to 5 different death threats, including one between Friday and yesterday because of the Red Dead Redemption thing going to PC. Like, I literally got a death threat because it's heading to the PC. And it's like, I'm supposed... I don't know. I think they believe that I'm supposed to be, like, depressed and mad and sad that a game that was already a multi-platform title is going to one additional multi-plat, but I could care less. I mean, I spent more time on Monster Hunter in 2018 than any other PlayStation exclusive release. And again, when the game came out, it was a multi-platform. So, you know, people, like what you said, you're going outside of this hobby we call gaming. And you're going to waste your energy on trying to beat somebody up or threaten somebody when, of course, you know, you're probably smaller and weaker than that other person. And you wouldn't dare say these things.
What if it's like Bruce Lee can kick your ass?
He's not gonna look like Bruce Lee because most of these they're little ass kids, smaller than your cat, literally. Like they have less
like the midget
strength
from the
than
Joker?
your cat.
Okay.
Like the midget from the
You
Joker.
know, they're fucking horrible little trolls. Yeah, so I blocked those guys. I blocked those guys, and I don't have any shame on it because hey, they're fucking irritating. So I know what you're talking about.
I don't see nothing wrong with that, man. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, if I'm a grown-ass adult, I don't want to be harassed while I'm at work and getting blown up in the notifications because somebody's telling me a game is going to another fucking platform. I'm a gamer. I fucking know these things. I found out the same time everybody else did. You know? So, we gotta get we gotta do the intros or we gotta do topics. What do you want to do? We could start on the intros. Everybody's here except for Adam. So
Hey, let's go to the topics.
we can go to the topics. Okay. First topic is Adam sucks, and let's get to the rest of the topics. Oh, there we go. I wanted to get one topic out the way before I forget. Did anybody see the brand new Death Stranding CGI advertisement? It's not a trailer; it's an advertisement. Did anybody see that one?
Yeah, I saw it.
No.
Okay. Dylan, you didn't see it?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay.
When did it come out?
It came out this week. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. It's the trailer that a lot of people are actually hyped for because it goes into very simple detail what the fuck the game is about. You know.
More detail. Did you learn more from that trailer than you did the 50
yeah, from
minutes
any of the gameplay you saw, it goes into more detail. Let me see. It's called Death Stranding: The Drop, and they're calling that the drop because those guys in the yellow costumes, they were attacking Sam, and while he was narrating his journey, it's only less than a minute. So if you want to take the time while we talk about it to go check it out real quick, it only take a minute of your time. I'm gonna drop that down.
Hold on. Jay, let me ask Diller, with all you see from Death Stranding, do you understand anything about this fucking game?
Fuck you, big money.
I think if you said you do understand, then you know maybe you're eating some magic shit that I'm not, and
No doubt.
you have a different perception of the game. I don't know, man. I just right now I have no goddamn clue. I know that you deliver packages, you can pee on stuff, and you can fall down cliffs and live. That's about all I know.
See, I told you.
But the funny thing is, you don't need.
I took a $60 on the game. Like, I already bought the game, right? So I mean, I'm gonna play it day one, but that doesn't mean I have a goddamn clue what's going on in it.
See, but I've been trying to bother JayTech for weeks about it, like, because he's not into the other Kojima games, but he's into this. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck about
I'm not
what
in
we've
those
seen.
other Kojima games because they were stealth.
But what about this game is just making you jump out of your seat, man? Because like he said, we haven't seen shit.
Man, because this shit here, man. Listen.
It's a new IP, right? And I want to see where he's gonna go with this. I'm not saying I know everything about it, but I'm very interested. I'm intrigued to see what it's really gonna be about.
Eddie, you gotta mute yourself, man, or something.
Eddie, come on, man.
There's somebody with echo, somebody rolling down a hill in the background. There's all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, that's you, Eddie. You got background noise.
Eddie said, "That's me." Yeah.
Okay.
No, man, but this, you know what? Listen, man. Listen. Like I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it a million fucking times.
Pizza.
90% of the sales, 90% of the pre-sales, that's for this fucking game. It's all over Kojima's name. It has nothing to do with the actual game.
And I can agree with that. Agree with that. And there's a lot of games that have a familiar name, and that's why they're selling. I'm not taking away from those games being good or bad, but some games sell just because of the franchise name. Halo will always sell. Before you even know what the game is going to be about, it will sell because of its name. Like Halo Infinite. We haven't saw a hardcore gameplay where he's holding a gun and shooting an alien yet. But before we even saw the spaceship gameplay or whatever it is, and we saw him land on what seems to be a planet that I don't know the name of, and he got out of the Jeep, and then the camera spanned out, and there was other Spartans on the Jeep or something. There was so much hype for it. It doesn't matter if you didn't know what it really was going to be about. It's Halo. You're going to buy it. It doesn't matter. We know what Halo is. You know what you're getting into. Now, you know, I got to give the guy credit. He's trying to make something different. That's why I'm following him. I want to see what it is.
So
I mean, other than that, if everybody was confused about this game and they say, oh, okay, I don't know what it's about, let me not buy it, then nobody would buy the game. I guarantee you 80% of the people that are buying the game still have no clue what it's about.
So what does the game need to do to kind of blow your mind and surpass your expectations?
For what I'm seeing right now, I'm impressed on how he was able to use the Decima engine. Okay, of course he wasn't able to drag the Fox engine because Konami's being a little bitch. So he ran around the world. Yeah, he ran around the world visiting so many different studios. He landed on the Decima engine from Guerrilla Games, which was used very nice on Horizon Zero Dawn. I definitely believe this game looks a little bit better than Horizon Zero Dawn.
It looks awesome, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I heard they ported it to Decima as well, so they could save a lot of time on development.
Yes, and from being an independent studio and knowing it's not a lot of people in that studio, for him to get it done in 3 years, which I expected him to have that game out mid 2020. I expected it to have a delay. I did not expect to be October 4th or what is it? This is the 5th, right? No, this is the 6th. Never mind. This is October 6th, Sunday. I did not expect to go into this Monday. He's in Russia right now. Fucking huge ass crowd there for him and Mads. A fucking rock star type reception over there. And I didn't expect to go into November and this game is still coming out in November. I expected a delay. I'm impressed. What we saw from Tokyo Game Show, which a lot of people didn't see, that the customization from his bedroom, the customization of the guns, his like the packaging, how you don't have to actually have it on your back. There's a frame around your backpack that you can take off your backpack that's actually a hover crate where you can put all the packages on this hover crate instead of having it look silly on your back. And then you can sort it out on your bike once you find a bike out in the wilderness and have the packages certain ways on your bike. It's just the customization. It's the freedom. And the different types of online elements, which I still don't 100% understand. I believe it's something similar to like a Demon Souls or Bloodborne as far as leaving a message behind, but also leaving they said you can make bridges over the water and you're the one that can leave a bike for another traveler in their universe. And I'm intrigued. I'm very, very intrigued. It's not like any other game. And I'm very intrigued. And I really can't wait.
You know what, Jay? That goes right back to the thing I've been saying for weeks, man. Listen, man. I just feel like
big
now
money,
we're getting
big money. We know you're gonna lose this money on a bet, so I know you got.
I'll lose the money on the bet, but I'm telling you, man, it just feels like just like with Red Dead 2, it's like these.
Oh,
these
I know what you're about to say. It's not fun to play.
Yeah. Games they're good games, but they're not fun to play, and I'm tired of that. I am so tired of that. Games are supposed to be fun to play.
We could say the same thing about Red Dead, right? It's not that it was fun to play, but I kept sticking with it because I wanted to know more. I want to know more about Arthur Morgan. One of my biggest intrigues was, and they still never really clarified it, and I don't like it, that Arthur Morgan was never mentioned. I looked at all the walkthroughs, right, from the original walkthrough, from the original game. Arthur Morgan is he's never talked about in Red Dead Redemption. He doesn't exist.
They did it backwards pretty much.
Exactly. It's like, okay, motherfucker, if you wanted to have us with a protagonist, it should have been the whole story of John Marston. I don't give a fuck how down in the dumps he was, which we found out that he was down in the dumps before he became a badass assassin or whatever. I wanted to just follow him, have the camera behind his shoulder all the times. I don't care if he's drunk. Give us that emotional cinematic storytelling from him, being not that good of a father and being better as a family man. Give us that emotion, okay? But no, you took us behind the back, behind the shoulder, or first person view of Arthur Morgan, right? And it wasn't bad. I like the story. I like, going to camp and that abandoned house we had to fight the Pinkertons or whatever that shit. And I mean, the gunplay was great, but it's still the longer and longer I played, the more I figured out this motherfucker doesn't exist. And I don't know how they're winning all these awards and shit when you're telling us it's supposed to be a prequel that they put a 2 behind of a character that doesn't even fucking exist. Like, come on.
There's too much fucking shit in there that people don't want to do, man.
Exactly.
I hate shaving in real life.
Not only that, taking care of your fucking horse. I know they wanted to be very realistic, and we got to deal with the same thing in Death Stranding. So I know I'm a hypocrite for this. Taking the fingernails off of your, the toenails off of your fucking toes because you've been walking so long. Or bringing 2 changes of boots.
Exhilarating.
Yeah, bringing 2 changes of boots because you walk so much and you fuck up one of the boots. It's realistic, but it's something that I'm probably not going to be looking forward to do a lot. You know?
What are they going to do to fill in the gameplay and the intrigue while because you're obviously walking.
Dying.
You're destroying boots.
No,
That's how much you're walking.
No, those demons.
Exactly.
No, those the demon part that Big Money likes. Those demon fights, they don't look like they're always gonna be easy. You know.
So you've kind of got to put up with those on your way to
yeah,
whatever
and if they
you're trying
kill
to
you,
deliver.
you go to Hades, which is like a World War II setting, and you have to literally fight your way out of that to get back to the Greenlands where you're running around.
What do you know about the magic baby, the bridge baby? Is that how you get back to the living world? Or?
No. From what Kojima said, you have to fight through Hades. You have to fight these skeleton type enemies that seem to also be a little bit on fire. They look like they're from the World War II because there's a World War II trenches in there, as well as like a fucking tank and shit.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So it's I'm interested to see where it's gonna go. Kojima is the type of guy that, I mean, he don't want to tell us, so he's not. he really isn't. And I mean, I'm not saying we should.
I don't even think he know what the fuck that game
No,
is.
no. I'm not gonna say that either. But the fact
He actually said that, I think.
So
He
hang
didn't know
on.
what it was.
I got two questions here for everyone if you want to jump in. For one, if I heard Rod Ferguson or anyone else, if I heard Corey Barlog or any of these guys say, well, the game is intentionally slow for like 50% and then it ramps up, I want you to feel lonely. Is that concerning? And secondly, what do you think the meta is going to be on this?
I saw what you said. That was paraphrased pretty wrongly. That apparently wasn't what he said.
Yeah, that wasn't really what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that article too. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that wasn't really what he said. His translator and the other people that do these interviews with his translator, they're not the best at all.
So I mean, like, there's like how many websites reported that wrong? Then, like, what's going on there?
What happened was they got the story from one person and it just multiplied.
So what did he mean to say?
I don't know.
He compared it actually to his actual code. He compared it to the first, was it Aliens? Whatever the freaking forgot which one, Ridley Scott or James Cameron, but he compared it to that.
Right.
Or it's gonna captivate you from the start and build up.
Tension builder.
Right.
Okay.
But y'all do this y'all do this so programmed for instant gratification. Y'all can't even accept something so different. This is why.
No, but if he actually said that, I would have been worried.
Yeah, if he said that, I would be worried. But it is Kojima, bro. Like, I'm not. I don't know a lot about Metal Gears, but were all the Metal Gears from start to finish, were they action packed all the time? There was no slow periods.
So what do you guys think the meta's going to be on it?
Meta, you know
I
what?
think we talked about this.
I think that
I said over 90.
Look, I'm gonna be real optimistic. Let's put from 80 to 90. Okay?
Because Phantom Pain got a 91 and nobody even liked it.
I don't know about that, dude. I'm going for a low 80.
No, okay, no, I know. My name is JayTech. I'm a PlayStation fanboy. I know. But let's be realistic. Some of these reviewers, we figured this out with Days Gone from the guy, the girl, I called her a guy, whatever, the lesbian from fucking IGN. She didn't play the game. She was behind the shoulder of a intern that was playing the game, because when people asked her about a vital character at the end of the game and the cliffhanger that the game left out on, she said she didn't know about the character. What was his name again?
About Deacon?
No, not him. The annoying guy.
O'Brien?
O'Brien. He was so annoyed by O'Brien. He said his name is such the most irritating fact. O'Brien! And that was like halfway through the game, right? And you always have these parts with O'Brien. You got to go on get these intels while there's other people in uniform like looking for the zombie parts and investigating the zombies and how they're transforming. And you mean to tell me you don't know who the fuck O'Brien is, and then at the end of Days Gone you understand who O'Brien is and what he is, and it's such a fucking amazing revelation. And she says to somebody that asks her, so do you know who O'Brien is? She says she doesn't know who O'Brien is.
She said, who the fuck is O'Brien?
Yeah. So it's like, when you know somebody like that might review Days Gone, I don't expect them to give it a friendly score.
I said it on Twitter. I don't, because I did a review on Days Gone, and I like the game much more than the Metascore. So I said it on Twitter. I honestly feel like Days Gone was a game that that critics, a lot of them, didn't even, because you got to admit, it's got 20 hours of shit that doesn't need to be there.
Mhm.
It takes a good 25 hours for that game starts to heat up. And it's one of the very few games ever where I can say, well, play it for 20 hours. It gets good. That's rarely true. In Days Gone's case, in my opinion, it is true. I don't feel like a lot of critics actually beat the fucking game. I don't.
No. No, they didn't.
But
And
I also noticed a lot of hypocrisy as well, where, you know, when something like Crackdown 3 came, Crack Rock 3, right? Crackhead 3, whatever, motherfuckers got a lot of names for it, right? Crackdown 3, if you didn't play the first Crackdown, I never really played the first Crackdown. I was not excited for the game. I was excited for the possibility that the Cloud Gen tech, which was inevitably removed when that team was swooped up by Epic. But the single player stuff, wasn't hyped for it, didn't care. Played it, actually had fun just fucking around, destroying stuff in a party in that game, right? Surprised me, actually. That game's at a 60 meta. It's like, how could you possibly enjoy this? But, you know, when it came to Days Gone, people are like, well, you gotta play it or you can't criticize it. So, as you guys know, I like Days Gone. I also had some fun in Crackdown 3, as crazy as that might sound. Everyone's got opinions, right? I just noticed a lot of crazy hypocrisy there with Days Gone. You all enjoyed Days Gone, right?
Yeah, I
haven't liked it personally.
Yeah, Sam didn't like it. I like you said, after a while
I think
it got
too
good.
long. It was way too long. I liked the game, but it was way too long.
But yeah, see, that's the thing though. It was a lengthy game, but you did have gameplay throughout the whole part. Like, I didn't like the stealth parts. I didn't like the intel parts because I'm not a stealth person, right? I don't like to be forced to do something. You should give me the freedom. If I want to go in guns blazing, let me go in guns blazing. I don't want to be forced to sneak around. I hate that. But in that case, that was the slowest parts. Those were the parts I didn't like. I continued to play it because I believed in the game, and I was like, I know there's no way this game is going to be this fucked up and slow. And the story built up, like going to different camps and how they played a key role in the story. I was so blown away at the end, man. All the tension, all the action, all the emotion.
The O'Brien end of story.
The thing about the wife and how they took you for a loop for that thing. I was blown away. I was like, man, this is a good game. Yeah, it was a good game for me. Like, I really loved it, man. I even went back and
that's a small team too. That's the impressive thing. It's like 150 guys, right? And they built what I think is a very capable IP.
Oh, definitely.
It needs a lot of improvements, but it's an okay IP. The thing I wanted to mention, the crazy thing about that, when you mentioned, I played Crackdown, man, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not, and maybe to me because I am a PlayStation guy. I played because I'm a gamer first, and I have played Crackdown, and it was just recently that I played Crackdown, and I'm still amazed on how that game went to what it was to what it is now. I think that's why people were so let down, because it was so much potential in the beginning for that game, and then when it came down to, I think it screwed a lot of people's heads up. And I think that goes right back to this thing with Microsoft in these studios. I've said this a million times before too, man. Dilla, I really do think that Microsoft has a very, very bad problem with the studios they engage with. It always seems like
third party hires like Sumo Digital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Bungie at one point, it always seems like when they get into it with when they merge with one of these studios, man, they always leave on bad terms. Yeah, and I don't know what it is. I don't
Microsoft, know. I mean, so far from what we've seen recently, I mean, honestly, we've all, I've been complaining about software on the Xbox for years. Newsflash, right? Mm-hmm. Anybody who watches my show knows. I fucking hated this year's E3. I was blown the fuck away. I couldn't believe it. 30,000 people watched us complain about that E3, and yet I'm still told that we said, wait till E3, wait till the next E3. No one ever really said that being serious. If anybody ever mentioned that, it was a fucking joke, because it's getting old. It's getting really old. So we were very excited about the possibility of a bunch of new games coming. The studios were needed. And I think this Microsoft is a little bit different than perhaps the bomber Microsoft with Bungie and all that. I'm hoping so, right? We should all hope so for the name of competition. But I do like what I'm hearing, man. I do like what I'm hearing. You're hearing from Ninja Theory, you're hearing from Obsidian, you're hearing from a lot of these studios. They're saying, hey, look, even In Exile are like, look, because of our acquisition, we can now fund voice acting for the whole game. Graphics are up, the length of the game's up. So, I mean, everything we're hearing so far from a lot of these studios is good. I'm gonna kind of wait until some of these games come out, you know.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm just worried, and like me and Big Cloud. Is Big Cloud still in here?
Nah, he had to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, me and Big Cloud.
Go ahead,
Go ahead, fam.
No, I was going to ask you. I was going to say, why didn't Microsoft stay in this lane? Why had to? Because what I'm looking at is like it's copying the PlayStation playbook.
No,
It needs to copy. It needs for one. It needs to copy the PlayStation playbook.
Why?
It absolutely needs to. Just like Sony have copied the 360 playbook with third party, right? They've done a fantastic job with marketing. Sony have done a lot of things right this generation, and when it comes to first party quality, Microsoft need to copy the fucking Sony playbook. Who gives a shit, right? So I just want better games from Xbox as a fan and as someone that prefers that brand.
But Microsoft didn't start off like that. And when it came, it didn't start off. It got its rep by FPS.
You gotta remember this is a company that had almost no actual first party games for most all the generation. I mean, everything was fucking third party deals, including Rise and all this stuff. Like it was all paid for, but they weren't thinking ahead. And a lot of people don't know it, but there was a guy there named Terry Myerson who was let go, and that's when Phil got his promotion to talk directly to Satya. Terry Myerson saw the Xbox as a drain on Microsoft. He wanted Xbox to make Windows money. He didn't want to look at it as how can we make Xbox make more money, make them more profitable, so we can benefit for everyone. He wanted to, he felt like the Xbox brand was a leech, and he really stifled funding there. And when he was let go, boom, you've got the promotion, then you've got the announcement of all these investments. They've over doubled their studios. I think it's 15 now in the last year. So that's good news, man. Like at the end of the day, until that software comes out, I understand a lot of the third-party stuff was not great. Like I did a review on Sea of Thieves. It speaks for itself. I did not fucking like that game. A lot of potential wasted. I did a review on, I've done a review on a lot of the Sony games. Hey, in my opinions, they're all right there on the channel. Liked a lot of them, man. So I kind of want that kind of quality software. God of War, to me, is the best game I've played all generation. What a mind fuck that game is.
Yeah, but I don't think Microsoft is going to invest into a new IP if they don't see a return on that. They're not going to do it.
They've already confirmed. For instance, Outer Worlds. They are working on a brand new RPG IP, or not Outer Worlds. Obsidian. You've also got the Initiative, who are working. If you read their press release, they specialize in new IP that is quote quadruple A, which is basically that's not a mistake. That's not a typo. It might sound like a joke to some. But that means, look, we got a big ass budget for whatever game we're working on. We're going hard, and that's the kind of games we need.
So that's what they're doing. That's what they're working on. You're saying
Also,
right now. That's what they're working on.
You do have Playground Games that's working on another game as well, an RPG, an open world one. That's the Fable rumor, right? Which will most likely be Fable. And you've got some others. I hear really good things about some other things they're working on too. Like for instance, Forza Motorsport. Even though it's easily the highest rated racing game today, they are giving those games more development time as well. On top of that, I mean this is kind of what we've always wanted. Stop rushing games. Give people, and Phil said it himself, time to build interesting characters and worlds. People should be championing this kind of stuff, right? I am. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's what I want.
Sorry, I didn't know we had a super chat early. We had Raph the Emperor, $2 super chat. He says, Death Stranding is day one. Shout out to you and the guest. Okay.
I look at it like this, dealer. If they don't invest, if they put some like a quadruple, if the money doesn't come back, the ROI, which is return on investment, doesn't come back big time, Microsoft ain't gonna continue to push those IPs. They're gonna be like, nah.
Well, I mean, for one, that's kind of the benefit of having a service like Game Pass is because it does create a ton of revenue. They just had their most profitable gaming year ever, right? They announced that. A lot of that's because of something like Game Pass. You'll notice it with Sony as well. They're all going in the same direction. I feel like it's plain as day. And with something like that, a big service like that, even if you do take a loss, which I really doubt a big game like from the Initiative would actually take a loss, you can eat into some of those Game Pass profits or that PlayStation Now profit, right? it's kind of a buffer. Think of it that way. You can kind of afford to take more risks because you've got that monthly increase in revenue, hundreds of millions of dollars a year, just from a service that lets you play a ton of great games, right? So I think that I can't really say that that's going to be the case because we just don't know.
Well,
that was one. Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Big Money. No, I'm saying, look at The Last of Us.
See, that's what concerned me in the beginning, man, because I never see. How can you tell you have a tick on your hand when you're giving away games like Gears 5 for $1? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I had 2 Xboxes. This is my second Xbox. I play primarily on my PlayStation, and the only thing I play on my Xbox is the games like Gears and Halo, right?
Yeah.
And when I got this, they had a deal for 2 months for $2, right? And I got it right on time when Gears came out. Myself, how can? Because after these 2 months are over, dealer, I'm not, man, and I don't see how Microsoft can handle stuff like that, man, and understand. How can you even see it's so many people out there that's doing the exact same thing? I don't see where they can say that's a win-win thing for them. Because
you're right. There are a ton of people doing that, but at the end of the day, every single service, Netflix, Hulu, all of them do this. I can go play God of War for free right now on PlayStation Now, right? It doesn't matter. It's all part of the plan. They want to change how you think about getting your games, right? They want to make you consider it next time a new game might come out, right? Or maybe you see a new edition. That's going to be on your mind at least a little bit because it's too good of a deal not to be, right? Secondly, I don't worry about Microsoft's money. I don't give a fuck. I don't get paid if they get paid. I'm worried about my money. Also, if you think a persistent $1 trillion company hasn't run the numbers and figured out how to make this profitable, which as we've seen, they've just had their most profitable year ever in gaming. That's crazy to me. Of course, these guys are smarter than all of us combined. They know how to make their money. I'm not worried about their money, but they do know how to make their money. They've run the numbers. They see the numbers. In fact, they've confirmed that games in Game Pass sell more copies, not less. So I'm going to go off of what's confirmed. PlayStation Plus podcast says it's crazy. There's zero rebuttals, but if you guys have any rebuttals, just let me know. It's a friendly discussion.
Yeah.
I guess he's got some, but
I
he's not. I
wanted to talk since I have.
Wait a minute, that's sick. Is that sick? Sick, get in here, man.
Yeah, Sick's good. Get in here. Sick, if you want to get in here, send me a message. What I wanted to know is everything you said seems nice, but when they're changing the way that they give anybody public information, it's a little skeptical. Let's talk about before Game Pass came out. You can't sit up there and say they weren't making a lot of money or they were making less money than the PS4 for Sony when they stopped covering how many consoles are sold. And I can ask you right now, do you remember the year when they last let anybody know publicly how many Xbox Ones were sold to gamers, to consumers, to casuals?
What, 2014 maybe or something?
Yeah. So if they were making money, if this wasn't a problem, you're acting like it's not a problem. You're talking about all these statistics and stuff that they're giving you, and their focus of doing that to give you the type of statistics you're regurgitating is so everybody believes everything's fine. Don't worry about it. We're doing good. Everything's good. Don't worry. You go get your games. It's all right.
I mean, I hear you.
I'm just like they got a lot of studios now, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're gonna copy off Sony. J-Love might say that, but J-Tech's not saying that. The fact of the matter is they should have did that at the beginning of this generation. We're talking about a gaming company now, their gaming division, 3 generations
how
in.
Well, their gaming division's doing, but as I said, they've already talked about their most profitable year ever, their biggest year ever in Xbox history. So I'm not.
They do that all the time. Like the last 2-3 years, they say we have the biggest
just like the
games.
PS3 did last gen. Every company's done this. PlayStation 3 stopped announcing sales too when it was doing horribly. Like it is what it is.
Not to this extent.
No, it never.
Not
did.
to this extent, no. But it's a different era.
No. I wanted to talk to you about that because I was here last gen. They didn't do that. Even when their numbers were bad, they announced how many consoles they sold. They never were embarrassed to talk about how many consoles they sold. At the end,
Inevitably, eventually, yes, they did announce the number, but there were.
no, I'm not talking about
periodically in between,
inevitably.
They did
When
not.
it was time for them to give out that information, they gave out that information because if they didn't, they know it would look sketchy. They never stopped giving out that information. They never.
You're
did.
looking at a world, though, man, where every device is going to be some kind of
That's
user.
cool. If they're making profits, that's awesome. But I'm asking you, why is it not sketchy? That this year, you're telling me they made so much profit that they still can't tell the public. Not me, not you, but the public, the other investors, and give that information back to the public. Nintendo does it. They're newer than the PS4 as well as Xbox One. The Switch has been out on the market for 2+ years. They're giving out information every fucking month or every other month, how well it's doing, how many games are actually selling, how many consoles are selling every 4 or 5 months. Why hasn't Xbox done that? I mean, Game Pass, is it supposed to sell the Xbox One? Is Halo and Gears, is that supposed to sell the Xbox One? Forza is a great game. So if you had Forza, you had Gears, you had Halo over the course of the last 4 years now. And you're telling me those games were not enough to be proud enough to give an update on how many consoles are in the homes of consumers, casuals, gamers, hardcore gamers, brand new gamers, moms, dads, uncles, aunts. You mean to tell me that's not sketchy
they said
to you?
Fuck all that. They said fuck all that, basically. I mean,
so obviously they're doing it because they know their system's not selling. I don't care about their services. Again, you're not getting paid. I'm not getting paid. I don't care how their revenue looks. What I care about is how many game consoles that they're making, supposed to be competitive with the PS4, how many consoles are in the homes? Because I don't see a lot of Xbox people. I do see a lot of Xbox people that now have a secondary console or maybe a new main console, which is either PC, which is a platform, or PS4, of course, for many different games. But I'm trying to figure out why can't they do it? We're at the end of the generation. There's nothing to be shy about. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. The generation is over, right? You've done what you've done. Everybody's making their money off of the streaming services, like you're saying. We're about to go into the PS5 and it's the Scorpio or whatever the new Xbox is called. Do you believe they're ever going to have the balls enough to let people know we sold 60 million the whole lifetime of the Xbox One, or we sold 70 million and we're down by 30 or 40 million?
I mean, everyone knows they're down. Everyone knows they're down, and I'm on the half that I don't care how much a PlayStation sells. I don't care how much a particular graphics card sells. I really don't care. And again, you're going into a future where every mobile device is going to be something to play a game on. Every PC is something to play a first-party game on. And none of that matters. An Xbox is just an expensive vehicle. A PlayStation is an expensive vehicle that you have to buy to purchase the gas, which is really what makes them the money. The games, right? They don't really make any money in the hardware. Sometimes they take a loss.
If PlayStation does this, Xbox fans wouldn't say that this is something to worry about. You should be scared because they're not talking about how many systems they've actually sold.
I don't care. I don't give two.
No, I mean, I'm not talking about the money they're making off of the system.
On my channel, I think it was 2016. The Xbox One S was winning them a couple months in a row, and I literally said in that video, I don't give two shits. Who cares? I mean, it's both ways for me.
Dylan, let me ask you a question right quick. How many, I know you say you really don't care about the sales. How many sales do you think?
For the X1, I think
do you think they're over 40?
Oh yeah. I think it's probably around 45 is what I'm hearing.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, honestly, and if you want to go off like all the latest information, pretty much all of the latest stuff from like Super Data and stuff, I'm pretty sure puts it around at least 40. There's still people running around with like 29 million and all this stuff from years ago. No. But at the end of the day, like, I don't give a shit. I don't get paid by these guys.
It's good to have options, but I don't see a lot of people. I see people that are now transformed into PC gamers that used to be Xbox gamers, and a lot of people are saying the same thing. If they're going to give their games away,
man. I play on Xbox, and
that's cool. But if they're going to give their games away, what's the point of buying an expensive new Xbox if their games are going to be playable everywhere else?
You gotta understand this. Don't care where you play it. Like I said,
that's cool. That's cool. But I'm saying it is a waste of money bringing out a new box that nobody's going to buy.
Well, it'll sell. I mean, you got to keep in mind that we can't generalize too much. There are people that
It will sell percentage.
just because a game's on PC doesn't mean people want to play it on PC, and it doesn't mean they don't have the money to play it on PC. They just prefer not to. So I mean, it is what it is, man.
So you don't
Dude,
think Game Pass and putting your games on the Windows Store and eventually putting them on Steam hurt the sales of the gaming console, which is known as the Xbox One? You don't think it hurt the sales at all?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said they don't care. They just want you to buy
That's
their
cool
games.
that they don't care. I don't really care if they care. I wanted to know.
It's
your
like
opinion.
it's
Did
like
it
if you
hurt?
release a new.
Did it
It's
hurt
like
the
if you
sales?
were to make a new video, JayTech. Let's say you make a new video and you put it on every platform you can, right? You share it because you want more people to see it. The difference is obviously you're not selling consoles, blah blah blah. But the point is they want to put these things where they can put them, so they can make as much money as possible, make that division profitable, increase the interest and investment there. And again, none of this profitability would matter if we haven't seen them over double their studios in the past year and a half. None. They could make 20 billion. It wouldn't matter if they weren't buying studios and
The
making
only reason
games.
why I don't care about those studios, I'm gonna be really, really blunt with you.
You know what, Diller? You know what I'm thinking, man? I'm thinking that
Cut me off.
this is a second win for Microsoft. I think when they first started off, man, they did good. When they got to the 360, they did better. What I'm thinking is this is like their second win. They caught their second win, man. I think they reinvest into the brand because at one point I think Microsoft was honestly thinking about letting go the Xbox brand because me personally as a fan of gaming, not just of the PlayStation, have people because like you said, we get the console for the games. Now, since gaming started, I know, gaming competition, since it started, man, you always had a reason to buy that console. And when you put your games on everybody else's console, it makes me say to myself as a fan, like, why would I have to buy the Xbox? It's the Xbox games. That's the part I'm scared of as a gamer.
Well, I want to clarify that they've already confirmed that their games aren't coming to any other console when it comes to the AAA stuff. I just did a video on this. I got the source, everything. Aaron Greenberg confirmed it himself. They're not bringing those games. None of their new studios, nothing. They're not bringing any of that stuff to any other console. They've already confirmed that. They'll bring things like Minecraft Dungeon, little things like that. They've already got pre-existing things like Outer Worlds that were already in development when they purchased them. But the new IPs after that, confirmed, not going anywhere. Like what they're gonna do is they're gonna leverage all this new stuff, just like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon. Everyone went to Amazon when The Boys came out because the show was fucking fire, right? Same thing with games. They know they need games for their service. Like it or not, Sony are gonna do the same thing eventually. Inevitably, it's gonna be a thing. It doesn't mean that anything's bad or good. It's just how things are.
Question for you, Diller. Let me. Can I ask him a question, Big Money? All right.
Shoot.
So, Diller, this is sick, right? You never probably heard of me, and I've never really, I got to be honest, I don't really watch any like gaming podcasts and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's usually full of bull. But quick question for you. The stuff that you're saying now, doesn't it directly contradict what you just said about these consoles just being vehicles? And if the games are the gas, then why wouldn't you put them everywhere, as you stated earlier?
Which part contradicts what?
Well, the part when you're saying now that Microsoft said that none of their other titles are going anywhere, doesn't that directly contradict what you said when you said, in the beginning, that games are simply just gas? They don't care where you play these games.
Not at all.
So if Microsoft doesn't care where you play these, then why would they restrict where you can play these?
Now, when I was just speaking, I was speaking on consoles, not devices and PC, right? For one, Sony wouldn't allow Xbox games on their platform. We all know that.
We don't
They're
know
not going
that
to allow
anymore.
something.
We don't know that anymore.
For one, it's been confirmed. I'll start with that. Aaron Greenberg already says no other consoles, right? I didn't say whether that's good or bad. I'm simply informing somebody who mentioned the fact that, well, all these games are coming to other consoles. That's not the case. When it comes to games being playable on other devices, xCloud is going to be a big part of the casual gamer's future. If you want to stream stuff to your phone, whatever, hopefully it's good. PC as well. So no, I don't see a contradiction there at all. It is what it is. You're going to have services over there and over here that have all of their kind of exclusive stuff, just like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon. That's why I reference those.
Well,
So they need a reason for you to pay them and not, come subscribe to Game Pass, not PS Now, right? And vice versa.
okay, and you did say something about the studios that were acquired and all of this other good stuff, right? So are we to not take Phil Spencer at his word? Because just listening, should we not take Phil Spencer at his word when he says things? Because he said a lot of things that have been completely changed since the inception, saying things like story-based games or narrative-based games, they're just not, they don't have the impact that they once had. And you would expect that some of these studios that they bought would be focused on making just that, right?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
if
you're
so,
talking about
and if
Phil's
so,
comments regarding. I mean,
right.
everyone knows that multiplayer games see more engagement over the long run, right? I think Phil is a very numbers-driven guy, and I don't think that's a good thing. I think that the focus groups need to fuck off. I think that you should let creators make passion projects, and anytime you do that, the result usually turns out to be better. And I don't agree with everything Phil says. Actually, I kind of looked at him different after this past E3. That's actually why I replied to him when he said, "Well, this E3 was our highest numbers and the most viewer watch, and the fucking polls are up." And I said, "Well, I never gave a shit about numbers. I'm not going to start now. That doesn't mean that. Basically saying that doesn't mean the show's good, because it wasn't." So, again, I'm not Phil Spencer. And again, you said you don't watch, so you don't know my opinion on the guy, or the last time I talked about the guy on the podcast, I said, well, I don't really care what Phil Spencer wants because I want some games. That's probably the last time I talked about Phil Spencer on the show.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Okay.
Cool.
I just don't see that time. What's that one thing that Phil said that I'm real excited about the games y'all didn't see? Like some of the things he says remarkable the way he say those things, man. And I'm not taking away from anything that Phil did. Like, I guess he did a lot of great stuff, but I think he would have did exactly what anybody else. They had a roadmap for the Xbox, and the only thing is he just changed it back to what it was. It's not like he did anything revolutionary. The only thing he said, okay, map out. But I'm not saying that
Well,
what
I think
he's
he's
done
worked
for
on like a lot of flexibility type stuff, which is kind of his first. And I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but I think he's worked on trying to get your games accessible where you want them. So if you pay $60 for Gears 5 or whatever game, right? It's always a better thing, no matter what anyone tells you, as the consumer, to have access to your purchase wherever you can. There's no negative in that for you, the consumer. There are zero negatives to having access to your purchases where you go. It's like Voodoo. Watch it on a fucking plane. Watch it wherever you want. It's yours, right? So I think he's done some things there. He did remove that bullshit Netflix Xbox Live paywall. That's the last thing I can remember in terms of policy he's really changed. But yeah, he's not done a lot, man.
Do you
I
think
think
he's going
a
to
lot of it's
change
gonna take
that
time.
free-to-play paywall?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this on the show. The free-to-play paywall, every other device pretty much on the planet can play these games without a paywall. There's no excuse for Xbox Live to have the paywall. Of course, it needs to be brought down.
Yeah, it needs to be brought down. I'm not sure if he will. I mean,
Okay, so another question for you, because again, I've watched, just gaming since the beginning, since its inception, since I played Atari, since I played in television. Now, do you believe that this whole thing that you're talking about, oh, just play your games wherever, we don't care where you play, do you think that would still be a thing, right, if Xbox wasn't in the position that it was in at this particular moment? Because now the reason why I asked you this question is because just even looking at the 360 era, right? The 360 era, they were doing great. You can catch, exclusive games from Xbox on freaking on the PC or anywhere else. Now, I know you're probably going to say the natural progression of gaming would have brought us here, right? I don't believe that. I don't believe that to any stretch. But I do want to know, do you believe that exclusives would be up in the air? Because this is the only industry. You can go to any other industry, and I mean any other industry, and in the video game industry is the only one where individuals call exclusives anti-consumer. And I'm not saying you, because I haven't heard you say that at this point, But do you believe, and I'll go back to the question because I don't want to be all over the place. Do you believe that if Microsoft was doing well, that we would have the same scenario?
For one, I don't think 360 did hardly anything right if you think about it. You had very little first-party support on that box. It was a box dominated by third-party supremacy. I mean, it was what it was. They didn't even own their own biggest franchises, like Gears of War at that point.
Right. But I'm not even talking about first.
I'm just saying, like back then, things were a little bit different, and they weren't doing as well as people remember. Secondly, I don't think it's the natural progression of gaming. I don't have a crystal ball or whatever, and like have a chart. This is where it should be in 2022. Like, I don't fucking know. What I do know is that if I buy it and I want to play it somewhere else, even though I might choose PlayStation or an Xbox, I should be able to do that as a consumer. I don't care. I do not care about anyone else but me and my flexibility, right? I don't understand why more people don't think about themselves.
So now I don't know if you.
I don't know if I don't know, to answer your question. No, I don't know if they would. I don't, like I said, I don't have a controlled timeline where I'm like, yes, I can see that what they would do, but I do know it's different management.
That's fair. That's fair. So do you believe that you should be able to walk into a Burger King and buy a McDouble?
No, but then we can try to change that to services, right? Act like Burger King's PS Now and McDonald's is Game Pass.
No, but we're specifically talking about things or products that they offer exclusively at their place of business, which in this instance is the games.
Yeah, and now those restaurants are the services. They are not the consoles.
No. If I go to a McDonald's or if I go to a Burger King, I am going to buy a product. I'm not talking about the level of service that they offer, because if we want to go there, you can go into either of these establishments and they will offer you the greatest service that they possibly can. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying, do you believe that you should be able to walk into a Burger King and buy a McDouble? And again, I don't mean this with any disrespect, so don't take my tone to be one of a tone that's, coming at you some type of way.
I get what you're trying to say.
I just want to ask a clear-cut question and get a clear-cut answer.
Well, I mean, again, yeah, I think it's more complicated than that. It already doesn't work that way. I mean, like, games are already on PC.
So why do games need to work that way? Why is it that Sony can't offer you a product that entices you to buy their product?
They can.
No, they can, but you say that they should go out of their way to make it easy for you to get their shit wherever.
I think me as the consumer would like more options and flexibility 100% of the time. There are zero negatives to being locked down to one box.
Me as a consumer, I want to get the greatest possible experience wherever I can. And if you're focused,
so you should be on PC right now.
Hold on. See, again, we'll get to that. All right.
I mean, I'm sure you prefer the ecosystem and the trophies, and there's a reason you're on PlayStation, right?
No. It has nothing to do with ecosystem or any of that stuff. This is where PlayStation games are offered at their greatest, at their best. So this is where I go to play. I'm at the end of the day, I'm a consumer and also I'm a gamer. So if you have something to offer me that I cannot get anywhere else, then I will purchase the product that I need to in order to play those games.
So
now I've said, hold on. I'm getting to it. I always said, and you can quote me on this, you can ask anybody, I've always said, if Sony is stupid enough to put their games on PC day and date, no wait, no none of that, then there is no reason for me to own a PlayStation.
They've already started doing that, though.
But they haven't.
Yeah, they publish games on PC already.
Right. And
streaming is not giving them the game. Streaming is not the same.
The games that they have published have been stuff like Ready, Set, Heroes.
Yes, right now, yeah.
Now, explain what that is. Am I going to go out and buy a PlayStation to play Ready, Set, Heroes? Or am I going to go out and buy a PlayStation to play Death Stranding? Which that's another part.
You're probably only interested in Death Stranding, but you're only one person. I mean, think about it. As amazing as God of War was, 10% of the install base bought that game.
Here's the thing. 10% bought that, but guess what? The 10% that did go out and buy that is more than certain games that are on multiple platforms altogether.
Well, that was
So if you want to play that,
yeah.
if you want to play that attachment game, we can play the attachment game, but we really have to play the attachment game. We have to talk about all of the multiplats that have been outsold by these single games. Let's just not say 10%, right? Because 10% gives off the perception that that's a negative. And in all reality,
it's not a negative. That's actually a good attach rate for any piece of exclusive software.
Oh no, absolutely. But
so
in all reality,
you're taking what I'm saying and you're thinking I'm trying to spin it as a negative. It's not.
No, but what I'm saying is it's alluding to the fact that if it was in more places, it would have sold more, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, okay. Now that have shown to not be true. Gears 5 can be purchased anywhere. You can get it on Steam.
God of War were available on PlayStation and Xbox. There's 100% chance it would have sold more. You get what I'm saying?
So
like,
what
I'm
you're
not gonna
saying?
Compare God of War, a 94 meta with all the hype in the world and this amazing experience, to the hype that Gears 5 had, and say, well, this one did better than this one. They're completely different games. You got to use the same game. If game A was available on more platforms, then it would sell more.
Look. This is getting on my nerves. Spider-Man. Okay, Spider-Man has always been multi-plat. It never sold as much as when it was exclusive to PlayStation. There you go.
And there were never Spider-Man games before this one ever that had the hype or the quality. I mean, there were
great Spider-Man games, and they were on every platform.
There were no.
Hold on. Again, you're working against your own point that you were making.
I'm really not, though.
Yes, you are, though. The reason why is because you're saying that this Spider-Man has a higher quality, right? People wouldn't have known that, though.
Huh?
You would not have known that before making that purchase.
I mean, reviews. I mean,
No. But out of the gate, this game sold 3 point how many million? 3.3? 3.3 million. So 3.3 million people saw enough value in this game to buy it before any of that BS.
What do you?
In 3 days.
Because are you attributing Spider-Man's success to a Metacritic score?
Not at all.
Okay, so what are you saying?
I'm saying there's more than one factor that you're not mentioning. And
right, but what I'm saying, and I do apologize because I'm not trying to cut you off, but I'm trying to get my point out here, right? How would people have known those other games weren't of a high quality? And back then, we thought that crap was a high quality. What are you talking about?
I'm not going to sit here and pretend like the newest Spider-Man game had the same hype level around it that the rest of them did, and even act like it's even of the same caliber.
Sorry, man. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans had a lot of hype from the movies.
No. Spider-Man PlayStation 4, the analytics behind that game on YouTube alone were fucking insane, dude. Like that's actually my biggest video ever, is my Spider-Man PS4 review. Like that game had so much hype and fucking shit around it. Great game, right? But don't compare that to past Spider-Man games. Don't do that. It's a disservice.
That's the thing of
No. Whether it's a disservice or not, stating that though, Diller. What I'm stating here is that simply back then you wouldn't have known that the game was a shit game until you got it. What I'm saying is these people did not wait before they went out and bought this game, because most people are going to wait a week after a game comes out in order to get it. Now, I get what you're saying, because they did do a lot of things to hype this game up. They had the subway in New York.
And the reviews were out days and days before it came out. Yeah, I mean,
but okay. So you're trying to say that the reviews, that the Metacritic scores, that attributed to that
all combines. Yeah, I feel like that's common sense. It all combines to create a massive hype machine.
Okay. So explain Days Gone then. I'll wait.
I mean, what about it?
Days Gone was a very successful game.
Yeah.
They even put out. So explain that.
I mean,
it didn't have nearly as much hype as a Spider-Man.
You're right.
It didn't have nearly as much hype.
Nearly as much as a Spider-Man either.
Yeah, but it still outsold the majority of games. You know what? We're not even gonna get into that conversation because then that'll open up a whole. There are plenty of games
in the 70s. There are plenty of games in the 70 meta that sold well. I don't really feel like that's a surprise. I mean, especially because
you can't say you don't feel that is a surprise. Okay, let's take Anthem for instance. Anthem is one of the highest selling games out there. Explain that one.
How many copies does that sell?
it's still one of the highest selling games of this freaking of this year. Period.
Yeah. Well, how many did it sell?
Don't know. I would have to look up the numbers. But the fact still remains that tanked. And let's be honest, it didn't have content. The game did have great mechanics.
The game is trash. I mean, just call it what it is. I mean,
I'm not gonna call it trash because I like
trash.
the game. It just didn't have content. There was no content. That's what I can say.
It's the game that killed BioWare. That's what we can all hold against it.
Yeah, but regardless of the fact, what I need you to do is I need to explain how that game could go on to be one of the highest sellers, how Days Gone could go on to be a highest seller, but then you make the point that the only thing that really sold Spider-Man was the hype surrounding it, the Metacritic. No. You said all of that stuff together is what hit it.
There are a lot of things. You can't drum up what I said in two things. For one, it's fucking Spider-Man.
I mean, hey, man, you got to look at the fact that there were a lot of
Wait, but Diller, was Spider-Man not Spider-Man back then?
It was. It was, but you didn't let me finish. It's one of the biggest intellectual properties there are. Sony did a phenomenal job at marketing this game as well. The game looked fantastic. The reviews were actually really good. They came out several days before the game came out. I mean, there was so many factors, and word of mouth was a massive one, you know? Again, I saw the search traffic. I know the difference between other games and how much Spider-Man was searched for. I understand the difference between that and my Days Gone review. I know all the analytics behind the scenes on YouTube. Spider-Man was off the charts, bro. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like, if that game were on more platforms, it would have sold more. I feel like this comes
about both games that before they both came out, what did they? I'm just gonna say, before those two games both came out, what was the one thing that they both had behind them that people were talking about before they came out? That was the Holgate situation.
Yeah.
And then also the aspects of glitches, bugs that were indeed being captivated on both media of whether it was articles from people at IGN, GameSpot, Kotaku, and then also maybe Reddit, Twitter. But then that could also build up on that. There's also the sense of, you know, Spider-Man 2 on the PS2 compared to Spider-Man PS4 were both set in different times. We didn't have Twitter, we didn't have Twitch, we didn't have social media elements. Well, not as big as what they were today.
Gaming itself wasn't nearly as profitable. There's so many variables. I mean,
exactly.
It's impossible to sum up.
There's so many variables, but that's still an out because Gran Turismo sold gangbusters. So explain that. Like this is what I don't understand. That's why I say I'm not trying to move the goalposts. I don't want you to think that at all. I'm a pretty straightforward guy when I ask a question. And the thing is, the simple fact of the matter is, I wholeheartedly believe without a doubt that making something multi-platform makes it less valuable, in my opinion. It makes it less valuable.
You know, I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit because you did say "in my opinion," which is something people don't do.
No. I can't say for a fact. I'm gonna say "in my opinion," but then I will state facts. I will state facts that will back up my argument.
So
which
to you,
is what I'm saying. But it is
platform, then you are less likely to enjoy it. Is that what you're saying?
Saying that I'm saying that a game is more valuable when you can only get it one freaking place,
and that's because it makes you feel vindicated in your purchase of the box, right?
Not at all. Not because it makes you feel vindicated in your purchase, but because people are seeing you enjoy something that is super great, and it makes them want it even more. It makes them start contemplating things like, man, I'm gonna go out and buy this box to play this game.
So I want to get this
That's called a system seller.
I want to get this straight.
You're going to tell me from a consumer standpoint, you mean to tell me you wouldn't want to play it where you want to play it?
God of War and Days Gone were better because other people saw you playing it and they knew they had to buy a PlayStation to play it.
If they wanted to enjoy this greatness, they would have had to buy a PlayStation. You know how many people went out and subscribed to PlayStation Now to simply play God of War at 720p?
I mean, they got it. I mean, they can download it. They can download it on the PS4 as well with that same price.
They can.
I mean,
no. Absolutely. But you can go out and buy it for $20.
People saying about Game Pass is, I got it for $1 or $2. Like, I can play God of War for free and beat it. I mean, why? Is no one talking about that? Like, I think it's a good thing.
Can I tell you why, Diller? Can I please explain to you why, Diller? Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you why. Because a game coming out day and date on Game Pass doesn't give it any time to be aired out. That's why I think Game Pass is absolutely ridiculous, especially for Microsoft. But
because
whatever,
you save money and get new games.
But whatever. Listen, dealer. It's all good for me to be a cheap consumer, dealer. It's all good. Wait, 1 second, Big Money. It's all good for me to be a cheap consumer, but then I would sit here like Xbox fans this entire generation, wondering why they getting Sea of Thieves, wondering why they getting State of Decay, wondering why they getting games that look like they were built in the back alley.
That has nothing to do with game
funding games is not cheap. God of War was not a cheap game to make. As a consumer, you can feel like you should get it for $1 all you want. But if you want to continue getting great games, then you have to go out and support. In this hobby, we seem to be some of the only people who don't want to support the hobby that we got. You got to be a jerk to actually go out and support the hobby so that you can get further games like this in the future.
I don't feel like there's any real data for that. And secondly,
look at Xbox this generation, dealer.
Hang on a second. You're saying that if you get God of War, if you get God of War through something like PS Now, which by the way Sony want you to do, that you're not supporting the game. But consider the fact that with Gears of War 5, I never once heard Microsoft say buy the game. They want you to get it through Game Pass. I mean, I don't understand why.
And that is Microsoft.
Yeah,
that is Microsoft. Yes. But here's the simple fact about it.
So what are you gonna do when
that game is riddled with microtransactions? How many microtransactions is in God of War?
Plus, they raised the price on the Iron as well. Don't forget.
They did, and we talked about that as well.
So again, I'm not talking about what you're talking about.
The Last of Us 2 has plenty of microtransactions in it. Gran Turismo Sport has plenty of microtransactions in it. What about it?
And those are not in PS Now.
Not yet.
What do you not understand about this, Dylan?
Not yet.
But we're talking about right now, Dylan. You're comparing this to Game Pass right now. You're talking. First of all, you're comparing God of War. You're comparing the Uncharted that are now in Game Pass that have had years to manifest themselves as sales.
So you are putting 100% of your money on the fact on Sony never bringing games day and date.
Hell no.
That's not even the conversation.
Well,
that's not even the conversation. If you want me to answer that,
because you are setting yourself up for.
If you want me to answer that question, I will answer that question. But that is not the question, Diller.
100%. You are putting your money on exclusives never coming day and date to PS Now.
You're changing. You're changing.
You said you answered it. I'm just asking you a question.
I don't believe that will happen. No. Okay. I'm telling you right now.
That's fine.
Put me down for that. I don't believe that will happen. I think that they have a great model for PS Now right now. I think they have a fantastic model for PS Now. The reason being
hold on.
My bad, Big Bunny. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my guy, man.
You good. I know.
We're not all going to agree. It's perfectly fine.
No. And we don't have to agree. That ain't what I'm here for. I'm not here to make people agree.
When you said show him the statistic, you have to, Dillard, you do have to admit, man, that's the reason why Sony is at and is about to surpass 100 million consoles. Is because of the exclusives.
Yeah, they already did it.
That is the main reason why they are at 100 million. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I do stand with Sick firmly on what his belief is as far as the gaming community and how they're doing gaming. This is how it's been since the beginning, and I just don't see it changing anytime soon. And the consumer has proven that. They have proven if you don't have something on your console that just belongs on that console, I'm not going to get that console. I'm just saying it's showing in the statistics.
Look, I wanted to chime in. Big Money. I wanted to chime in because y'all been talking for a long time. So
my bad, man.
I want to point this out. I did my research as for you, Sick Humor. What is it? Ready Set Heroes. Sony isn't as stupid as Microsoft. They did not put Ready Set Heroes on Steam. It is it's an Epic Game Store exclusive because they know where they want to get most of their money.
Most money from, yes.
Exactly. So look, they're not doing day and date. If they were gonna do that, dealer, they would keep God of War on there. They're putting it on there for 3 months. You have to explain that. They want to give you a taste, so you're tricked into buying the service and being subscribed to that service for however long it might take you to beat God of War, Uncharted 4, Grand Theft Auto, which isn't even their game. So for 3 months, you can play those. Well, sorry, the fourth game is Infamous Second Son. For 3 months, you have access to those 4 games, 3 being exclusive, 1 being a fucking multi-plat that's going to end up probably in January 2nd when this deal is up on, Rockstar's launcher exclusively. And who knows, they might take all their Rockstar games from Steam and stick it on Epic Game Store and then Rockstar's launcher. You get what I'm saying?
I hear you.
If they really was going to do what Microsoft was going to do, you have to explain why they're taking those 3 exclusives off after 3 months. They know it's enough to make
this is a simple test run to see how much these titles will boost engagement, in my opinion.
Exactly, but it's no indication that they're going to keep them there.
You'll see in the future. I think it's indicative of what you'll see. You guys don't think that games will be in day and date? I do. We're not going to agree.
When you can point me to the person that beat God of War on streaming,
I think they're looking for that big kind of renewable fund every single month, man. You gotta imagine that with how many subscribers that PlayStation.
But aren't they leading it?
Wait up, man. They already got 800 games on there. What are you talking about? They already got 800 games on there. They got more games than Game
I mean, they're making money with it anyway.
And they beat Game Pass last year and every other year.
Okay, so Diller.
PS Now was doing more numbers than Game Pass as well.
So
obviously,
I'm not understanding your math, man.
Wait. Hold on. Okay, so Diller.
So last confirmed, PS Now is at 700,000 users. I do believe 700,000 subscribers.
Yeah, right? that's around the last time they confirmed the numbers.
Yeah, and the last time Phil confirmed the numbers, it was millions, right?
Okay, millions
on Game Pass, right? Not that it fucking matters, just the numbers, right?
No, and that
Sony obviously want to boost their numbers. That's why they're doing this thing with God of War and Uncharted. I think that they're kind of seeing how much these exclusives boost these numbers and engagement. They're even offering you to play these games for free. They're not devalued in any way. It's good for you, right? That's all that really matters. I don't care how much money they're making. Once again, that's what everyone's kind of hung up on here. If they're doing this, they know how much money they're making. They've cranked the numbers. They know better than all of us. Why? I mean, I just don't understand. Why are people so offended that you're going to play a great game for a low cost on something like PS Now?
I can tell you why, Diller. Because the level of quality that we receive with these games will significantly drop.
How do you know that?
Because if you take a look at your example, get Microsoft. That's the example.
But see, if these was in development years before Game Pass was a concept, Crackdown as well.
It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. First of all,
you know what? Sig, I tell you what. I'm gonna give Diller the benefit of the doubt. Now, these next couple of these new studios that they got, and I know this the last thing you want to hear, Sig, is let's wait to see what these studios gonna do.
That's the last thing.
Well, that ain't the worst thing I want to hear, because that's for people who had bought a Xbox in 2013 and stuck with them up until this point.
I mean, I got every
people who have to wait.
Does anyone here have an Xbox? Or I mean, am I the only?
I have an Xbox.
Okay.
I got an Xbox.
No.
I got an Xbox.
I don't see no value in the Xbox.
And that's value. Like again, I'd be on PC if I didn't prefer, the ecosystem and all that stuff. Like I'm just a console guy, right? So I'd be on my 2080 Threadripper build, right? Well, I just prefer what I want to play on.
I have a 2080 Ti with a Ryzen 2700X, and if I do want to play anything that Xbox has to offer, that's what I'll play it. But here's the kicker: like my caveat is, I have to be able to play it for $1 because that expectation has been set for me.
So you went through Gears 5 and you thought it was horrible. You thought it was worth $1. Don't tell me that.
Gears 5, it wasn't that great. The story wasn't that great.
Oh, come on.
It was a very short. You want me to tell you why? You want me to tell you
Gears
why
5 was
Gears
quality.
5 was enjoyable?
Gears 5 was a quality game. I think it's the best Gears ever released. It's got a ton of multiplayer co-op.
And I'm glad that you think that. I'm glad that you think that. I'm not arguing against what you think or what you believe. That's fine. I'm just telling you what I think and what I believe about Gears 5. You're talking to someone who played and beat this game on Insane. Like, that was the only enjoyable part, is the difficulty for me. The story was pretty goddamn stupid.
Hey, you know what?
Right.
The thing about that, hey, Dilla, I liked it, Gears 5, but going back to what I said earlier, man, after that, I paid that $2, man. I really don't feel like, and I've talked to a lot of people, I don't feel like those people are going to keep the subscription
That's
going.
fine, man. Like, who cares? Like, get your $2 game and get out. Like,
For sure.
again, Microsoft know that you're doing this. I don't care if you do this.
Why do it? Why do it if you know if it's not? And I'm not saying that it's not working
Because they've weighed the risks here. They know that the payoff is obviously working. They know a lot of people stay subscribed. I think it would be foolish to say that a lot of people don't. And it's the long game, right? They're thinking long, far ahead. So at the end of the day, they want everybody to kind of consider Game Pass.
It's the time of it. You gotta spend money to make money.
Exactly.
But the thing is, they've been in the game for 20 plus years. That's why people are so confused on what they're doing. The studios they're getting now, they should have been got 10 years ago. Like it seems like every generation is this their third generation? They're going into their fourth generation, man. It seems like every generation they change their roadmap and I think majority of their fans, besides you, are confused on what they are doing right now.
I don't think so. And I talk to a lot of people that are on the platform, and I honestly see it crystal clear. Maybe you guys don't, and that's fine. But everyone I talk to kind of know what's going on. The most confusing thing for a second was what's happening with the games. Where are they going, right? Though I don't care personally because I think Days Gone would have been a better experience on PC, especially with the frame rate problems, right? That's another thing. Like flexibility is a big deal. If you want to have an option to play something somewhere, you should be able to do that for your purchase. I think that makes the game better. So Days Gone would have been a better experience on PC than it was on PlayStation. It would have been a better game. A lot of games would be because I don't prefer playing on the PlayStation.
Yeah,
so I
but
would
the
probably
only
play
way
on
you'll be
the
able
PC.
to play it on PC is stream it. You know,
I'm just saying though, if it did come
take
to
that
PC,
step.
that's kind of my point. But what I'm trying to say here is though, it is different and changed. You know, you remember when the PS4 Pro was coming out, the Xbox One X, everyone's like, "How the fuck is this gonna work?" And they were on fire, running around in circles. It was really not a big deal at the end of the day, and people came to understand it. They weren't confused, like, and if they were, and they couldn't figure out why one was $200 more than the other, like, all right, you got a problem, right? With games, I think most consumers don't even give a shit if a game is exclusive, as we talked about. I think that most people just want to play the games they want to play. If they want to play Spider-Man, they can't get on the Xbox, so they'll get a PlayStation.
I don't think you've always thought that way.
I think look at the numbers in the reason people, like I said, the reason it's at 100 million. At the end of the day, I know you don't want to hear the numbers, Dylan, but the thing is, at the end of the day, exclusives sell the console.
I mean, it's one of the things that sell the console, but statistically, way more people are playing Fortnite than God of War.
Yeah, but they want to play it on PlayStation because more people already had a PlayStation. That's why they play it.
And two, it's word of mouth as well. So I mean, again, there's so many variables to each of this. Sony had a tremendous
all I want to
game
say
plan
before we actually get the topics, because we've been on whatever we're doing right now forever.
We have.
But let's put it this way.
way.
Exclusive sell consoles, that's a fact. Not an opinion, it's a fact. If you want to look at that, if you want to look at that research, look at Microsoft being afraid to give anybody the sales numbers at that point in time, even though they're already doing it. At that, listen to me. At that point in time, even the third parties are already doing it, right? The third party's been flocking to Sony over the last 3 or 4 years. They don't need Microsoft's honesty anymore on how many systems are sold. They're going to PlayStation. They know more gamers are there. They know that because multi-platform games that are on 3 or more platforms just are doing much better on PlayStation. It's a no-brainer that this system has outsold your system, and it matters at the end. Game Pass doesn't matter.
Consoles, yes. No one ever said
Game Pass
that
doesn't matter. It's not going to sell an Xbox. It's going to sell me on the fact, oh, I don't need an Xbox. But it's not going to make me buy an Xbox.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe
let's.
you're not into Game Pass. Yeah, I mean everyone's different, man. So I know people with kids that absolutely, when they heard about Game Pass, asked how much an Xbox was. I mean, it is what it is. You don't agree, maybe you don't understand that, but it is a good value. The same thing for PS Now.
That's cool.
Dealer, you had a 360, right? You was on the 360, right?
Yep.
Why do I feel that you changed when Microsoft changed their model to go
Back then, I wasn't worried about what was exclusive. I didn't pay attention to it. I played all the biggest games. I didn't give two shits. As a matter of fact, I was actually rooting for the PS3 more back then. I do believe, because I went and played Uncharted 2, a little game called Uncharted 2.
Right.
So I mean, I've had the Xbox since the first one, but there was a period during the PS3 where I was kind of rooting for the underdog.
Listen, the only way Sony's gonna do what literally if their next system completely bombs and the third-party games completely move away from the prior generation systems, that's the only way Sony would do it, because that's the desperation move that you have to pull. You have to then say, okay, how can I create revenue streams at this point? I know I'm not going to be the one selling the games. So now I have to figure out some type of way to get people to play these games. I have to figure out some way to entice third party to even consider me or consider my platform, because we saw what happened with the Wii U.
On Twitter from MPD, like, why does everyone think games just don't sell at all on Xbox? Is this just...
Well, we don't know. They don't want to tell us
to their potential.
Yeah.
I personally think a game like God of War should have sold 90 million fucking copies. That's how good it is.
Yeah, but look, we're talking about a weekend when Gears came out and they said 3 million players. We're talking about a weekend when God of War came out. They said 3 million sold.
You know,
I mean, come on, man. It was on Steam. It should have sold double. It should have sold 6 million in the same weekend because it was on Steam and on Xbox One. Don't you agree?
And the Microsoft Store.
I feel like with the number of platforms that people say that it had access to, pretending like every PC in the world can run a game like that, right? I feel like it could have did 10 million in a weekend. It would have been good enough.
But this goes against the other argument that these games will sell better if they're on multiple platforms. Gears 5 is a perfect representation of that not being true.
So do you have an alternate timeline where Gears is only on the Xbox One and the Xbox One alone?
It's never gonna do that.
I mean, well, if we're gonna do that, do we have an alternative where Sony actually does what Microsoft does? Like, see, again,
I'm just asking you a question because you're saying that Gears would have sold more on one platform as opposed to more, right?
You can't reroute questions to fit your argument, bro.
It's not a reroute. It's just that what you just said destroyed your own statement. I'm just saying that you're saying that Gears would have sold more if it were on one platform.
Isn't the concept of what you say? You said if it's available on more platforms, it will more.
And that's why I asked you, do you have an alternate timeline where Gears isn't available on more platforms so we can compare numbers? How do you know that?
So basically this whole argument is null and void, because then when I say the exact same thing to you, then it's
not at all. I just asked you, do you have an example of your claim? And unfortunately, there's no time machines.
If Xbox indeed out the gate pushed the numbers that they should have pushed or could have pushed, then yeah, they would have. They would have sold more.
100% of the time, if it's on more devices, it'll probably sell more copies.
Yeah.
So what happened with Gears 5?
Install base.
So what happened with Gears 5?
What do you mean?
What happened with Gears 5? I'm asking you a simple question. It's really simple. I don't know how easier I can make this question.
Well, that's on 60.
I need you to understand. Hang on. I'm just trying to make sure you're with me. You're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, you are saying Gears 5 would have sold more if it were just on one platform, correct?
It could have potentially sold more, sure.
You
I mean, Spider-Man has sold more than it's ever sold.
I would say that.
I mean, and now it's exclusive. It's not a multi-plat. I mean, I don't know how you want me to question. You want to drive the question, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to drive the question, and then you're trying to change the narrative to fit your argument. That's not what I'm doing. You giving me an example. I'm giving you an example.
No, I think you're telling me that I'm doing that because you don't know what to say. So
I know exactly what to say.
I will explain it to you if you just give me a second. You're telling me that Gears 5 would have sold more copies if it were just on 45 million Xboxes instead of more platforms? Is that what you're saying?
It could. I mean, it's focused. It's focused to that community.
Hold on. I got his question. No. I got his question. I see where he's going with this. Yes, it could have potentially sold more if Microsoft had done better.
No, there's no better. There's one timeline, right? The only thing you said is that it would sell more if it were exclusive. That's basically what you said. That is not true.
You don't think that there would have been more hype, more anticipation for Gears if it was only
amongst the if you are a fuckface fanboy that only buys games because it's on one platform, then that's your problem. Like most people aren't like that.
Well, you can't speak for most people.
I can look at the numbers and see what most people are playing. They're all playing fucking multi-plats every single month. They dominate the charts.
Okay, and then Spider-Man.
Okay, it did great. What about it?
It's an exclusive
now, do you have another timeline where Spider-Man is multi-plat? No,
yes, I do. Yes, I do have another timeline.
Spider-Man 2018 is multi-plat?
This is not the first Spider-Man game. Not. So I do have a different timeline when there was Spider-Man, because if we're talking about...
Right? You brought up one specific Spider-Man game. Right?
Really, Diller? Are you really being...
So did you not just say... What about...
Come on, dog.
Did you not just say, what about Spider-Man, right? You said Spider-Man. What Spider-Man are you talking about? Are you talking about PS2 Spider-Man? Are you talking about 360 Spider-Man? Are you talking about 2018 Spider-Man?
Look at this guy. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I mean, I'm just... So you're asking about a Spider-Man game. Are you asking about one from the past? Or are you asking about the newest Spider-Man? Because there's only one newest Spider-Man.
I'm talking about the Spider-Man franchise. It did better as an exclusive.
So you're talking
as an exclusive. Gears franchise did better as an exclusive. Can you debunk this, Dealer? Jesus!
I'm not gonna lie. If you don't,
of course, this is not the goddamn multiverse, my nigga. This is not the multiverse. We cannot talk about a timeline with Spider-Man PS4 being on Xbox or on fucking PC. I am talking about the franchise. I'm talking about the franchise. This is what we've been talking about.
I gotta state for the record that this is the first time that you've ever said franchise in this whole conversation. All right.
So really,
so maybe you went back and you realized the amount didn't make sense.
No. The amount of mental gymnastics that you do is just I applaud you.
What do you could have solved it all by saying one word.
No. I applaud you because you knew exactly what I meant, because we've been talking about exclusive versus multiplat this entire time. We've been talking about different franchises this entire time. But you want to be willfully ignorant because you know you cannot combat what I'm saying. What? I understand this, Dealer. Combat what I'm saying. As an exclusive, not Gears sell more as an exclusive. I don't know how else to say this.
So tell me how much Gears 5 sold.
Nobody fucking knows.
That's my favorite project.
Are you serious?
Come on, y'all.
All right, so if you don't know how much it sold,
then I tell you this was gonna happen. Then I tell you he was gonna do the mental gymnastics. Going to flip it to a different argument to fit his narrative.
You're just
all right. You've mentioned plenty of times this conversation about how Game Pass is doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
What about it?
Now, what statistics do you have to back that up? What numbers do you have to back that up? If you tell me 2 million subscribers, how many of those subscribers are dollar payers or free trial users? You then have to play that game, Dilla. Come on, man.
Well, I'm going to tell you what they've confirmed, which is what all I've done pretty much this whole time. They've confirmed that games sell more when they're in Game Pass. They see more engagement.
They said that about one indie game.
No, they didn't.
What game?
They did not say that about.
What if I tell you, Dilla? What if I could tell you the game that they're mentioning? Because one of my friends, Fatal Mephisto, he loves Game Pass.
Please, guys.
Hey,
all right, I'm pulling it now.
Maybe JayTech can type this in real quick and just type games sell more on Game Pass. It'll bring up games like it'll bring up Sea of Thieves. It'll bring up State of Decay 2. It'll bring up more than indie games is what you're talking about. So. Phil Spencer's confirming increased sales and engagement. I don't know what to tell you. Like I'm going to go with the guy that kind of runs the thing.
I mean, people lie all the time.
But you're not going to go
That kind of goes back to
when I'm giving you instances, I'm giving you examples. You're the one that want to say stupid shit like Spider-Man PS4 being on Xbox. That's what you're talking about. That's never been what I've been talking about, because I was talking about the older Spider-Mans. This is how I know you're being willfully ignorant, because I specifically stated that Spider-Man games have been on these platforms previously and have done far less. And then you move the goalposts again. But the advertisement that they're getting today is Spider-Man as big as it was today? Is gamers as big as they are today? Well, okay, explain Gran Turismo if you're going to explain that.
Hang on. Don't have a fucking stroke here. Give me 1 second. All right. So let me remind you how we even got back to Spider-Man, because this conversation is getting old. Right? You're saying then why didn't Gears do as well? Explain Spider-Man, right? Explain Spider-Man as
Spider-Man was on
hang on. I will explain it to you. You said explain Spider-Man because obviously Spider-Man did phenomenally, right? Now you wouldn't be talking about past Spider-Mans because those were multi-plat. You're obviously talking about an exclusive Spider-Man. That means the last year Spider-Man, right? So then I said, well, I can't explain Spider-Man because we don't have an alternate timeline where Spider-Man went to more than one platform. Are you keeping up now?
No. And at that point, Spider-Man did go to multiple platforms.
But
Hold on. I was completely quiet when you said that. I did not interrupt you, Dylan. I really didn't do that. So when you said that, I then went back to the platforms. And then you tried to move the goalpost saying all this stuff about, advertisement wasn't as it before, the gaming community wasn't as big as it was.
That was at the beginning of the show.
But that's what we were talking about this entire time. All of a sudden, you want to be selectively picking out what you want to think that I'm talking about.
So when you brought up the newest Spider-Man, right? And then I brought up the fact that we don't have an alternate timeline to see if it would have sold more and more platforms, because my argument is, of course it would. The install base goes up. Sales most likely go up, right?
Okay. So
1 second, let me finish. Then you bring up the older Spider-Mans for some reason, and I'm like, specifically this game you made a claim about, the exclusive one, for a reason, because exclusives sell more, right? That's why we're sticking to the new one. But you took it back to the old ones, which has nothing to do with your fucking argument in the first place.
Because why would I bring up Spider-Man?
Okay.
Let's
move this shit forward.
Let's jump out of this cognitive dissonance and let's ask, why would I bring up Spider-Man? Why would I?
I don't know. It's not the one that was exclusive. That was your argument. The games sell more.
Okay. Hey, sick humor, man. Look. Y'all been talking for 8,000 years. And it gave me 50 million years to go into the fucking stars and find another fucking pattern, okay? So look, I'm gonna slap this out here.
That's fine.
Look, I'm gonna slap this out here, finish it up in 3 minutes. Okay.
I'm good.
Gears of War 3. Hold on. Gears of War 3 sold 3 million in its first week. It was exclusive to one platform. And it sold 3 million in its first week. Not 3 million players, 3 million. If you can't provide any Gears of War 5 sales, we should take it as a flop. Actually selling 3 million copies of a $60 game. We're not talking about people that are game sharing Game Pass, which some individuals, a part of the Legion, have done, or people paying $1 for Game Pass and then also in the Legion got rid of their Xbox or planning to get rid of their Xbox because they don't have any use for it. We're talking about individuals that already had an Xbox One, paid $60 for Gears of War 5.
To be honest, we are talking about a game that should have fucking ended on 3, and there should be a new IP at this fucking stage.
No, they don't want to do that. They want to milk it.
I will say that Gears 5's numbers were in the first weekend. And I don't know how much it sold. None of us do this, kind of my point.
Yeah, but we know it didn't sell 3 million because they were bragging about it.
I'm not saying it did sell 3 million. But what I will argue about is the quality of the game. I think it's a high quality game despite the post-launch bugs that happened that weren't there before.
I in there with him because I played the game, and me and Adam has talked about this numerous times. The game's good. It is a good game.
It's a good
game.
And
I know everybody don't have the same feeling.
Even after,
but
me and Six talked about this last week, right? We both, the game, Gears 5, is good. But from the retrospects of what that game tried to do and some other things here and there, it was clear that they were dabbling with certain ideas within the game that kind of were just a shortcoming of an idea. Now, they could implement that into the next game, of course. But, for me, after playing Gears 3, right, and then they did Judgment, and then they did Gears 5, I was like, when will be the time where Coalition will be like, fuck this game, fuck the series, go to a new IP? Because I know that Gears is a beloved series, and that alone should be selling games, copies of that game. It should be. There's no time I saw Gears come out when it was 2, 3, and then Judgment and 4 even. I always heard a lot of people talk about that, but specifically 2 and 3. When those games were coming out, advertisement was on a high. They talked about those games. That game was a very fucking beloved game. Whereas when, Judgment came out, 4, it was kind of like, okay, cool, no problem. Gears 5, the only time where I saw that was a Game Pass like an advert. And to be honest, for me, Gears 5 deserves better.
Yeah.
It really
marketing could be better. But,
yeah, I know it could be.
Also, I'll point out games like God of War Ascension
with set game, right? And I know that Microsoft planned the marketing around Game Pass because that's their baby right now. That's how they want people to play games because, to be honest, they brought this idea around because of the aspects of, they weren't selling, they had a certain amount of consoles, right? But they weren't doing, the gaming, the games themselves, the units that were selling on those games weren't doing the same numbers as what PlayStation were doing or Switch are doing, right? So fuck it, how about we do Game Pass where we convert those units being sold into users, in which doesn't necessarily mean that these people, like 3 million people, are playing that every fucking day, right? It's a sense of, obviously, it fluctuates.
Yeah,
and that's absolutely fine.
Horizon 4 though, that game's past 10 million players now.
Yeah, of course, but
it's gonna go up well past 3 million, right?
Yeah, I understand that, Theo. But how many of it? You say 10 million players, right?
Yeah.
How many? Would you say that's every day, or would you say again?
I don't really like when GT Sport announced. I think it was over 6 million or 9 million players. I didn't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. I think that they're doing Game Pass not because they're desperate. I think they're doing Game Pass for the same reason Sony did PS Now before Game Pass.
No, it's not because they're desperate.
They see a revenue source there. They see a customer there that wants to rent games.
Yeah, that's fine. But it's also a sense of the reason why they're doing it isn't because they're desperate. It's because they're trying to find another way to get those numbers.
Yeah, they're making more money. Yeah.
Exactly, right? Because they're not getting the money from, if they were to put, I don't know, for me, if they were to put out Gears 5, right, but not on Game Pass, Game Pass didn't exist, they put out Gears 5, right, I'll probably say it would have sold more than what it did, because I think from what I remember, because I remember Sony putting it up when they did the 3 million users, right, it was roughly around 60,000, and it was, I don't know if it was below or just above Gears Judgment, but to me, that's bad, because I'm like, Gears 5 was better than Judgment, and it was better than 4. I still categorize as the first, the trilogy, as being better than Gears 5 because of elements within the story that, to me, kind of was a bit suspect, and I could kind of think of them in films, right? The things that they told in Gears 5 kind of resembled things that I've seen in films, like storylines. Like, me and Sek, we kind of figured out that the story that they were telling in Gears 5 is technically the story between Alien 3 and Resurrection. It's just a weird fucking, way of putting it, but it is true. It's also a sense of... It's also a sense of the decision-making, right? We all know about the big decision that happened at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But a lot of people that I've spoken to kind of get to the point where there was only one fucking decision to be made. There was only one good decision, right, that kind of would make the story of the sixth game good, and that was Dell, not fucking JD.
I'm, and I don't want to spoil it for people. If you haven't beaten the game, you should beat it by now. But I wonder how they're going to handle that in the next game, because it's like,
exactly.
Most people probably killed JD, right?
We all know that.
And it's like, what happens if I didn't? Like, are you going to make the choice for me? Kind of like with the Carmine thing when you download the certain.
Yeah, true. To be honest, they did do a thing before that, didn't they? In Gears 3, they did like a little poll, didn't they?
Save Carmine or kill Carmine, right?
Exactly, right? And that's cool. They could have done the same thing with this. Well, no, they couldn't have, because that would have been big, actually.
You think they'll tally the choices and kind of go and make the choice for everyone in the next one?
They either do that, or for me, I'm just gonna put out there, it's either that or Rod Ferguson has the fucking balls to make the decision for himself. Because, like, listen, bro.
Fuck y'all, I know who's gonna die. Oops.
No, that's the thing, right? You know, when you watch, like, for instance, Naughty Dog, right? They do not ask the fans, hey, who do you want to die? Or better yet, you know, in The Last of Us Part 2, they're not going to ask the fans, hey, do you want Ellie to know that Joel's lying before the game starts? Or do you want them to implement it within the game? They don't ask us that. They will be like, fuck it, it's our decision, it's our game, we're making it. Instead of doing that aspect. Like, I've got to say, man, Gears 5, I mean, I play on the base Xbox, right? But the fact of the matter is, I agree with people that have played on the PC and the Xbox One when they say that it's a fucking visually beautiful game. And I agree with them, 100%.
I don't think it's the best looking game, like a lot of websites are saying, but it's up there, man.
But it's up there, yeah, exactly, right? And the thing is, it should be, because the Unreal Engine is not a fucking B-class engine. It's A-class. Like, it's a great fucking engine. It should, like, this engine was, you know, when Crytek were, you know, making Crysis games, right? You know, that engine was, like, the benchmark of a lot of people. But then you look at them now, it's like, where the fuck is that engine? We don't know. But, you know, you've got Unreal Engine, right? And then you've got some internal engines from Sony, you know, when Santa Monica used theirs, Naughty Dog. I mean, you obviously got Rockstar Engine, which is the Rage engine, you know. But, yeah, like...
Unreal Engine is kind of the only big multi-platform engine, like, for just random development. Yeah. Like, is there another one left? Like...
Yeah, I mean, like, you guys brought up Anthem, right? The reason why Anthem flopped, right? I'll say this right now. Frostbite... A lot of people like to say how beautiful like engine is. Obviously, yes, it is. But if you're talking about a design basis, that engine is fucking trash. It's fucking shit. It's horrible to develop for, and one of the reasons why Anthem and BioWare was struggling with that engine was because they didn't know how to fucking use it. They had to bring in people from FIFA and Madden to help them fucking make this game. When EA could have just said, "Hey, listen, do you want to use like the Unreal Engine or maybe the Source Engine?"
That they did do that with Star Wars though, which that game
is by
God of War 3 creative director. That game is fire, so I'm looking forward to it.
I've got to say though, dear, with that, what you just said, Respawn were using the Source Engine with Titanfall and Titanfall 2. I found it funny when I heard that they were using the Unreal Engine because like, okay, they're going to use that. But I'm not going to say that that's a bad move. It's a good move because Unreal Engine. Again, I used it when I was studying game design and games culture. I was using that, the Unity engine, Maya, and those are engines that pretty much, if you're going to learn game design or you're going to a course, those are the ones that you'll be using. They're the main structure. And then afterwards, if you go into a company and they've got their own one, then you have to learn that. But it's not hard to do that. Like, it's just little things here and there that might be different. But yeah. Anyway, I know you guys want to get on to the next topics and stuff like that. But
we never covered the fucking topics.
Let's go on to.
I've only got like 30
minutes.
Let's
go on to a topic.
Like 30 more minutes.
Not with Xbox and PlayStation.
Hey, first let me say, man, again, Dylan, thank you for coming.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, it was fun.
Diaz composer still.
You got something about it.
Hey, you know what?
We disagree, right? But I understand, and I keep it.
Check this out. I would pay top dollar to see Sick Humor TV and Diller do something soon. I would pay top dollar.
Just got that shit for free. Get out of here.
Hey, at least there was no dead air. I hate dead air. But again, we're on opposite ends of the spectrum. It's not like a thing that's like being a manipulator or backflip, whatever the fuck you said. Like, it's just that we don't look at things the same. It's everywhere. It's politics. It's music. Nothing different in gaming.
Nah, for sure.
Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Nah, but see, you have to confirm stuff like that. I think if you get loud or something like that, that means that you're upset or you're mad or something like that.
We were both upset at that point. Then
it was hilarious.
I'm not mad. I'm not upset. But people are twisted to that fact, so I want to come in front of that and be like, nah, I'm good. I actually enjoyed the conversation. I enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah. That's why I come on to, shows on the other side of the community, because, that's kind of a problem in this community. These motherfuckers don't really know anybody. They think they do. They believe what some dude, looks like a beaver that uses a keyboard, says about somebody, and they don't never know themselves. So it is what it is, man.
Yeah, the dealer, but you do got the man D-Box saying The Last of Us 2 has been downgraded. I'm like, here we go again.
Hey, man, I don't know if you heard, but I mean, we confronted him on this podcast about it. I mean, it's his own opinion, bro.
I know. I seen it, but I was like, wow, here we go again.
I mean,
with these downgrades,
man. Motherfuckers saying that we wanted to get Last of Us banned. Like, that's how dumb this community is. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm looking forward to this game, bitch. I think it's so well acted and realized that it's jarring, and that's special to me.
Facts.
Okay, so I know Sick Humor already covered this in his podcast, but I did talk about this on Twitter. It seems to be a pattern. I mean, it's an obvious thing. It's about to be a new powerful generation. I see that Sean Layden stepped down earlier this year. You had Reggie from Nintendo. He stepped down. I don't know if I see Phil stepping down because Phil has a lot of work to do for Xbox. He has to make sure the next launch of Xbox is in very, very safe hands. But in the position that Nintendo is in, and the position that PlayStation is, and I believe they look all right, that they're going to get some new management. We see where they go next gen. With whatever the guy name on Nintendo is called, something Bowser. We don't know who's going to be taking the spot of Sean Layden, but it'll be interesting.
I can see Phil moving to another part of Microsoft.
After the launch. He has more work to do than somebody like Sean Layden. You got to admit, Sean Layden was here when the PS4, after the horrible launch and the performance of the PS3, the PS4 got 100 million. They bounced back from last gen's console. So he was in a generation that was just on top of everything. I mean, he deserved his retirement or whatever you're gonna say.
He's laid some
serious since 1996, man.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't understand it. He's been with the company since PlayStation 1 came out in the United States. So, I mean,
hey, I will say real quick, secondhand sources, according to Windows Central, they're saying there's some kind of feud going on in there, and that's why he bowed out. I think it's something between him and Jim Ryan.
And
it makes sense. It makes a lot of fucking sense.
I think Layden wanted to stay more traditional, whereas you got Jim Ryan saying we're preparing for a post-console world and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what happened there, but it is very interesting. No real press release, just a tweet, nothing from Sean. He dipped the fuck out.
It was sketch.
Yeah, and then the guy from Japan, it was the same president from Japan, PlayStation Japan. Yeah. He stepped down. Actually, the same damn day. I know we're in different times.
He said it was because of age or whatever, but
okay.
I mean, he's only like 53, I think. I mean, that guy's a millionaire. It could be because of age. I don't know.
No, but he retired though. Like, we're the only, like, America's the only think it's weird to retire when you get 50. I mean, at what point do you enjoy the money that you know?
Because you can't fucking do it here. Everything's so bullshit.
No, I mean, and that's kind of where it's at. But if you look at Sean Layden, I truthfully believe that Sean Layden got fired, my guy. I don't think he stepped down. I think
he got fired?
Hell yeah. You know why? Because look at everybody else who stepped down, right? Everybody else who stepped down, they had some situation where they announced it. We had no freaking clue. You had to literally, PlayStation announced it. Who the fuck does that happen with? When Castle Rob was leaving?
Footage, right? Where Jim Ryan wrote his name on a sandwich and Sean ate that shit and got fired.
Yo, man. Hey, you know what I'm starting to see, though? You know what I'm starting to see, y'all? It seems like at the beginning of every new generation, somebody's starting to leave. Yeah. And I'm wondering, is that going to be a pattern, or is that just something fluke that happened?
In a way, it's a pattern, but like Sick Humor said, the way that Sean Layden left, I mean, yes, we're on the edge of becoming the new generation, 2020, so it makes sense for him to step down anyway. But some people in different businesses, they kind of leave a little sooner than they're supposed to. And yeah, it's always speculation when you leave in the way that he left. There was no press release from him.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? He didn't announce anything.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but did y'all hear that rumor about him going over there to Stadia? Because there was a rumor out there about him going over there to Stadia.
I mean, What's that guy, the bald guy named Adam, the Harris guy? Didn't he like go to a competitor? Like
that's what I mean. Phil Harris worked on PlayStation and he worked at Xbox. The fact of the matter is, he knows fucking Sean. They bumped past. That was the case. I mean, it's also said when if we're talking about Layden, right? When it comes to like people leaving, yes, like it was super sketch because one, there wasn't a briefing which they normally do with people, and two, the tweet didn't even at his Twitter handle, in which he actually fucking has got a Twitter. We all know it. So I don't know if like it's a sense of animosity or anything like that. I just feel like Jim Ryan and him had two different paths, both not being bad, but it's more the sense of which way Sony wanted to go. In this case, Jim Ryan came up recently about complacency and stuff like that. And, you know, when it comes to Jim Ryan, for me, I'm not completely with that guy because he has said some stupid shit in the past. He has done it. I'm sorry, Sean. Yeah, everyone's done it. But like, the fact of the matter is like, whenever Sean comes out and says whatever it is, I'm glad he did it at the end of this console generation instead of going into PS5 and going, oh yeah, by the way, guys, I'm gone. It's like,
yeah, it would have been bigger.
It's better for companies to do that now.
Somebody had said that Sony had asked Sean to get his teeth fixed. And he
God, shut the fuck up. Who said that?
You got fucking Son of Sam.
Fucking Sam.
That's fucked up, man.
That's why I've never understood.
We gotta fix some fucking tombstones.
He couldn't use it, so big party.
I never understood that. Like, he's an executive. He's an executive.
Are we really about to talk about this dude's teeth? Come on, man.
I mean, I'm just saying, though. Like, it's kind of...
Who we had? We had what? Jack Trenton, Andrew House, Adam Boyes, him.
I mean, yeah, a lot of people have left this generation, man. A lot of people have left this gen.
Do you think maybe they think that, you know, PlayStation, like, I said it on my show, like, they're like, hey, we just shot like 9 for 10, 10 for 10, right? I mean, is there a chance we're gonna do better with the PS5?
Well, I don't know if they can do better with the PS5. I mean, people are still trying to wait and see. Big Money's gonna lose a lot of money. If the PS4 is gonna outsell the PS2, but we gotta wait and see. We don't know. Shut up. We don't know about that. We don't know.
I think it will, and I'm gonna tell.
Wait a minute, what you say?
Depends on how long they support it.
I think it will outsell the PS2, but I'm gonna tell you why I think it's gonna outsell. It's gonna be weird for you to think of it this way, but the next gen consoles that come up, they're gonna be expensive. They're not gonna be the cheapest things on the market. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they're not gonna jump out of these cross-gen games just like that. You know what I mean? Of course, they're gonna try to entice people to buy the new console because you want them to buy the new console. But let's be realistic, right? They're gonna sell more PS4s if people see that they can still get the same games, even if it's of a lesser quality. Like that's gonna be what it is. Plus, we are to the point where people are like, shit, if I could buy a game for $1, if I could play a game for $1, why spend $60 on it, right? Right? So there are people out there like that. And I think that there's going to be people who just say, you know what? Since this game is still going to be cross-generation, I'm just going to get a PS4 to get it.
And I want to segue into some topics so we can actually cover more. Talking about cross-generation games, as you guys know, Demon Souls, the game that started all the Souls-type games, is 10 years old today. And tomorrow's Monday. And that's the only pattern I got. And it's the month of fucking October. Hold on. It's the month of October, and at the end of this month, you got Paris Games Week going towards Halloween. I'm just saying, it's the perfect month. It's the perfect fucking time, 10-year anniversary, to talk about, if it is confirmed, a remaster for the game that started all the Souls games, which, again, that would sell a lot of PlayStations. But I want to say another thing. Sick Humor, you fucking know this shit. We didn't see Project Awakening. Ghost of Tsushima is missing. We have 3 fucking months left. If we don't get another State of Play, which they normally talk about on a blog when they're talking about their current state of play. They didn't give an announcement if we're getting another one in months, weeks, or the following month. So after Death Stranding comes out, Concrete Genie is coming out this Tuesday. There's still some gaps in when we're going to get information. It might be the Game Awards, but, you know, Sony likes to keep their announcements exclusive to themselves, so I don't think they're going to do that. I think we're going to have another state of play.
Hey, Dylan. Hey, Dylan.
Yeah, what's up?
What do you think the next, I don't want to say great IP, but the next AAA IP is coming out for Xbox? When could we see and after, I'm not talking about Halo, something new, a new AAA IP. When do you think we'll see that?
Oh man, honestly, it's something I've been thinking about. In terms of first party, I mean, you're talking about stuff now on PS4. Obviously, Outer Worlds will be in PS4, but Microsoft do have that one coming out.
What, isn't Outer Worlds going to the Switch too? Then the developers.
Yeah, it's coming. That first game's coming to everything, but Matt Booty said the franchise is not doing that in the future. So that's what I'm saying. If you're talking about games that are on just the Xbox and Windows and whatever XCloud and all that, honestly, looking at early next year, doesn't look great. Yeah, Ori, it's a quality game, not the type of game I want right now. You do have Halo. Again, I'm not talking about Halo. I don't know. It really is going to depend on what they announce, man. Honestly, they didn't announce much last year or this year at E3, so they got their work cut out for them. I'm hoping. I think you might hear something about Hellblade. That team, right?
Yeah.
You got the Bleeding Edge team, the little 15-man team working on that little game.
I think, and I want to say this, I think Bleeding Edge is very interesting because when I play competitive games, if I feel that I can, I will always try to go for melees as much more than anybody else if I remember to. Call of Duty's obsession. I know that Last of Us remastered multiplayer. I've been playing the fuck out of that game. Like, I just didn't even understand how awesome that game is. I love melees. For Bleeding Edge to come out as a brawling style competitive game, I'm very interested in that, and I'm hoping the Xbox community as well as the PC community, if it is also on Steam, I hope they support that game. It's something new. I mean, look.
Have you tried it yet?
Bleeding Edge? No, I've saw a lot of gameplay from it.
It's a very polished alpha. Like, it's one of the most polished alphas I've ever seen. I mean, I'll say that. So, I mean, it looks like it's got some good time behind it. They were working on it years ago, apparently, something like that. And it's finally about to come out, but we'll see. It's not really it's not like, again, it's not the game Xbox needs right now, in my opinion. But if you're interested, hey, you should know.
They finished construction, by the way, of their studio.
I'm not sure. I know that they are over 100 employees now. They've only expanded, so every single one of these new studios are pretty much have hired, and I know Playground's hired about 200 new people. They're blowing up, man.
What's it going to
do you think we'll ever see another Platinum game on the Xbox? Because I'm thinking
that motherfucker holds
that
gripes,
relationship
man.
was toxic as hell. You know, they basically fired Platinum the first time around.
Yes, and he holds grudges, man. He's still holding grudges against PlayStation, man. So I'm not. It's not negative towards Xbox. I just know the guy. He's a bitch. Nah, he's not coming back, bro.
That would be a good get for them. Get Platinum sick. That would be a good get for them.
Nah, man. I think they safe with Nintendo, and they don't fuck with a lot of people like Xbox or PlayStation. It's like they get criticized at all, bro. They just don't fuck with you no more.
Because they've bad experiences with them too.
But Scalebound was gonna be. I don't care how good it sold or how bad it would have sold. That was a good game, man. That was something different. It was something y'all needed. It would have brought you back. I don't care what nobody say. That was something that probably would have got me to buy it. And let me point out, I watched a lot of content from Fable Legends when it was in this beta. Don't know why they canceled it. I think it was a horrible fucking idea. That looked good. For all the bad Fables they had after Fable 1, that one looked like it was going to bring the series back. And
I don't know about that, bro.
Hey, well, it would have did better than canceling it.
Fable 2 wasn't that bad.
I think they're working on a new one now, and I think they're kind of keeping it more
I don't know,
of a traditional
man. I can't
Fable.
believe any of those rumors because they canceled the last one, but I hope they are
Well,
I
they
hope
canceled
they
that
are.
one because internal testing was bad. Everyone who played the beta, pretty much, most people thought it was bad from what I hear. And
That's
the
it.
game
I heard the
didn't really have a
microtransactions were bad. I didn't hear the game is bad.
Oh yeah, I heard a lot about how the game was, and a lot of people didn't like it. I just don't think it was Fable. Call something else because that's not Fable. Fable's an RPG, very
Hey, you know
in-depth
what?
RPG.
I can see them canceling that game, but why would they get rid of the studio?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I don't know why.
I think I would have kept the name. I would have kept Lionhead the name, but all of the talent behind Fable 1 and 2, Fable 3 sucked. Left.
Yeah.
They're gone. So I guess they just dissolved it and said whatever. I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, I'm gonna bring this up because I was watching a documentary about games, and it was I think it was Jason from one of the founders of Naughty Dog mentioned the factor of how you can't replace Irrational when Ken Levine left, and the factor of all the people there you just cannot replace Irrational.
Yeah.
For me, that comes down to the whole Fable thing, right? I know that a lot of Xbox fans would love to see the name Fable pop out of the woodwork, right? But let's just say if it didn't, and it wasn't called Fable, it's called something else, but it had that sort of style of it. Would you take that game into open arms?
Of course, I'll take any game that's like I said, we need big blockbuster kind of AAA in depth big game, right? So
Yeah.
I don't care if it's called Fable, but I think it will be called Fable.
Because for me, I said this after your E3 of Xbox, right? Because I know a lot of people were saying that Fable was going to be there in some credits, and I was like, I don't know about that because obviously there was numerous times where I heard about this, but for me, I feel like after I watched that show, it got to the point where I feel like it'll be more of a better interest if they just separated themselves from that. Because again, the people Lionhead that made Fable, they were the ones that made that game, right? If it was me, was it Playground Games that was supposed to be me making that new Fable game? Yeah, if that was me, I would not want to be. I want to say put in the shadows, but like someone along the vague lines of it, where I'll be like, I want to make my own thing. It's kind of like Coalition.
It depends on how they show it, man. Like if they show it and it looks fucking amazing, and you see some stuff you like, I don't care. I don't think it matters who it's made by. Also, they've hired people from Rockstar. They've hired people that from BioShock, Arkham. This isn't just a racing team that decided to make an RPG, right? It's a whole other team in the back end. And hopefully,
it's a team of veterans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
do you think we're gonna be waiting until E3 to see the fruits? I mean, it makes sense because that's Microsoft's MO. But
you've got that XO19, haven't you, in London, which I'm supposedly to be going to, my brother.
What? When is that? The XO19.
That's November.
November, okay. And then you have the Game Awards, so something could be shown off there again.
Hey, quick question for you, Diller. This is from Game Over HD. Jay asked Diller, what can Microsoft do to make Xbox great again? Because Xbox hasn't been great since its inception. Well, damn, that's a loaded question.
What they can do is build more studios, which they have, and they can increase investment, which they have. So now it's just one of those things where hopefully the games are quality.
I mean, a further question on top of that should be: do you think, and this is to Dealer, do you think they need to buy a few more studios, or do you think that's good enough what they've got? Because to me, I feel like they should just
need to buy more studios, but no more dinky ass studios. You need another big AAA studio or two. Build one from scratch. Do what you gotta do.
I think I said this to. I know. Funny enough, me saying this, I remember tweeting to Colt Eastwoods. Right, I had a discussion with him about this, and he was mentioning about 40 projects and stuff like that. And obviously, I got it was a good conversation with him on Twitter. But it got down to the sense of, like, for me, I mentioned the factor of, these 40 projects that, Colt mentioned. And I asked him, do you think that that's how many, because I said, like, along the lines, right, these 40 projects. The Xbox are not going to have 40 projects reach the gold, state, right? Those 40 projects will probably dwindle down to, like, roughly around 15 to 10. That will then go into actual major development. And then from that point, hopefully, with those developments not going badly, they will all come out. If not, that will then drop to half, maybe like 5, 7 more.
Well, they're going to have at least one, at minimum, they have one project per studio. Add on top of that the fact that multiple studios have more than one team, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
like Rare and Playground, that's 2 more. So I mean, Ninja Theory have 2 teams, actually 3, I think, but the last one's on
But,
like
yeah,
small games. But
I mean,
you get what I'm saying? It's at least 15 titles,
I mean,
and that's without the
see-
double team.
See, the thing is, right, with that being said, like, they got multiple teams. Do you feel like, for me anyway, I felt like, I know that they have enough people to build 2 teams within the studios, but, teams like Naughty Dog, right, they didn't separate themselves into 2 studios, right? Or 2 teams. They were on one team for roughly around, 2 games before they even split. For me, I feel like when it comes to these studios with Xbox, for me, they should not be splitting. They should focus, create a game, right? A singularity game. See how they do on that notion, right? If they've got the fundamentals down and these games get received well and whatever, follows by them, then maybe consider that. But, with the aspect of what Xbox are trying to do, right? They're trying to create quality games that people are going to like and enjoy that you get on PlayStation and Switch. That's their focus.
The Coalition are working on multiple projects, and they just released Gears, which you and I agree, a great game. I don't think it's going to hurt Guerrilla Games, which are split into 2 studios now.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, they've made Killzone 1, 2, and 3, Shadowfall, and Horizon Zero Dawn before they split up to that. Whereas,
but Killzone Shadowfall was like a 71 meta. I just don't think it's going to affect the quality because I think they're hiring and stuff. It's all about time, right?
Yeah, I understand. But the point of the point of where I'm looking at is, if they are wanting to, if Xbox, right, or not Xbox actually, to be honest, because they have nothing to do with it. If these studios are wanting to create something memorable, special, something that, again, people will be talking about, you would think that they would be all focusing on that one project. Because,
could be.
That, again, you want that to be the sense. And then, get the aspect of, because again, Initiative is a new studio, right? It's obviously made up of, veterans, of course, but only people such as you, myself, and others in the podcast will know that. When it comes to the consumers, though, they don't know shit about that. They're like, oh, it's, this new game with somebody shooting a gun. It's like, oh, great. But then for you, it's like, oh, wow, Initiative, they are making a really good game. This person must have did this and that. But, yeah, I feel, for me, obviously my question was to do with the aspect of them buying more studios. For me, I feel like they should concentrate on the studios that they've got. And because for me, I do feel like they've bought a few studios, right? But will there come a point where one of those studios will sort of get up and leave? Because that can be a possibility with any of these studios. Any of them. I hope it isn't. And I hope it isn't. I hope I'm wrong. Completely.
I don't know. I just hope Microsoft can give everybody the same attention. Nobody should be getting special treatment. They're all too young to get. One gets more attention from daddy than the others. You know what I'm saying? We understand that many of them are indie developers, so that's going to happen anyway. But you need to work on bringing them to a triple A quality level. Prime example, Concrete Genie. It's a lower level studio, but the game itself, all the critically acclaimed awards that it's picked up, and the reviews that I believe we're going to see, it's going to be on a level of a triple quality. It might not sell.
Wait. Do you really want that?
No. But I want them to get better. I want them. No. I want them to get better. I hope that Concrete Genie is good.
You want those sort of studios to get some sort of especially with the games that they're releasing around. You've got COD at the end of the month. You've got Death Stranding, you've got Doom, obviously the next month. But again, you don't want to be swallowed up by these games.
Exactly, but I that's what I'm wondering is Microsoft buying too many studios, and a lot of them are gonna be left behind. And
I mentioned,
you know what, Jerry, the thing I'm scared of with Microsoft, what they need to do is to build a very good personal relationship with these studios, because they can ill afford another Bungie. They can ill afford another thing that happened with Platinum. It's too many studios. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I heard somebody at Bungie threw a fucking chair at one of the Xbox executives. They can ill afford to do that. They need to build a very personal, good relationship with their studio. They don't want their studios to come in thinking one thing, and then in 5 years, they hate the fuck out of it. They don't need that.
No,
That's one of the things you need to do. Because I'm telling you. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think that, to be honest with you, I got to be 1,000%. I think Microsoft has probably better relationships with their studios than other companies like Sony or whatever. Because and I know it's gonna sound crazy. But when have you ever heard 343 come out against anybody from 343 coming out against?
They're new.
No, well, 343 Coalition, whatever. When have you ever heard any of them people? Like, you got Corey Barlog, like he's the head, like pretty much the director at one of the at Sony Santa Monica, and he be saying shit in spite of Sony. Like that shit is crazy to me.
What do you say?
Yeah, but that's the sense of, again, like, you got
I would hear about this. Like,
I have to find a tweet. So
when it comes to,
I mean, like disparaging remarks about PlayStation.
You can go to anybody.
Not like they're bad, like they're the enemy. Just things that go against.
I understand that. Like if you can go to anybody at Bungie and you can go to anybody at Platinum and you say, "Hey, how were you treated at Microsoft?" I guarantee you, they can sit down and write a fucking book on how bad they. I don't like that. I mean,
on the other hand, though, like if you take their it's just everything that's being said. They're like, hey, there's no pressure. They didn't even care what the fuck we're doing. We are able to increase our budget, fidelity. Like, I mean, I'm just gonna go off what they're saying now, and then maybe if they change it, it's like one of those things you can worry about.
Games that were in the fucking grinder, by the way. I mean, the studios that we're talking about, they were in the fucking grinder at the beginning of the few years of Xbox. Whereas Gears, Gears 5, they felt like they were pretty comfortable in making that game because, again, Xbox probably were, again, a little bit different than what they were before. When it comes to Sony, right, you got Shanstar still, Scott Lowe. You got Shuhei and a couple others. All three, all these people that go to these studios, making sure they are okay with what they're doing, asking them about the dates and stuff like that is great. And like again, when it comes to like Santa Monica, Shannon Star still works at Santa Monica, but she's also one of the aspects of management within PlayStation. Making sure that the game is okay, that everyone's fine. Because again, in the documentary this year, Raising Kratos. Great fucking documentary about the whole fucking studio, which you don't really get these days. You don't get like
you do. And that's why a lot of these companies be so out of touch with these studios. You see what? I mean, sick love Anthem, but I do hate what happened with that whole situation. See, what they do is. I think what I love what Sony did that thing where they got personal with their studio. They went every other month. It takes about 5 years, 4 to 5 years to make a AAA game. Don't go twice years to see how the game going, and then when the second time you go, you be like, "This is a shit game. Let's cancel it." That's the relationship I'm thinking, and I'm hoping that Microsoft can deal with the studio.
When it comes to these sort of things, they have people integrate within those studios that are basically good at basically a communication line between PlayStation and their studio. Understanding that if everything's going smooth and if there is any hiccups, like God of War, it was supposed to be coming out in March, and they had to move the date from March to April because of the bugs. It was like roughly around like 2,000 bugs, something like that. They had to lay out and patch. Again, that was all in the documentary. Like when it comes to that's the other thing as well. Like, that's the reason why I like these sort of documentaries because again, you don't get these sort of things very regularly because there's a lot of shit that might be said in these like studios that people are like, oh shit, they shouldn't be saying that. No, that's not nice.
It's kind of what made that documentary unique, though. That's why it was so cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, and especially like at this point in time, right, where you always hear like the aspect of people being mistreated, either it's sexual or it's the crunching value or whatever. It's just like. It's nice to see something like that pop out once in a while and be like, you know what, it isn't as bad as what you think it is. Obviously, yes, it's a fucking grind to make a game, always is. But
they had to cancel their other IP as well. They had to cancel a new IP for God of War as well. Yeah,
exactly, my friend. Yes, and again,
I'll never forget that time.
No. They were working on
he caught
project.
2 words, didn't he?
What was it called? It was called Project something. I think they're gonna still continue on that. I think we just don't know about it.
They
but
better not. I need another God of War as soon as fucking possible.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, I wanted to talk about this topic 5 hours ago on Eurogamer, so it is credible. No, it's not what you're talking about. It's not what you think. They said the NPCs will live or die depending on your decisions inside of Death Stranding. I think that's pretty interesting.
Okay.
I mean, you're delivering life. You're delivering.
No, I mean, Big Money said we're delivering pizza. So how you gonna live off of pizza, Big Money?
Hey, that is.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Wait. Now, I'm not gonna even get into this.
Yeah, if it's Domino's, you're gonna die. That's true.
Yeah, I know Dillard say he only got a limited time and shit, so I'm not gonna even jump on Death Stranding.
NPCs live or die depending on if you decide to shoot them in the face. Is that what they're saying?
I think they have options like that too.
Like it might be to do with some games where you have like animals shit that they might attack NPCs or whatever, but it's a bit like I don't know, something along those lines. Sounds like anyway.
Right.
Like so basically when you connect a certain factor in Death Stranding, I'm guessing the world will change in some fucking dramatic way or something like that. Well, that's what it sounds like to me.
I wish them the best, but right now I have no fucking clue what that game's about, and I'm just kind of.
No one fucking well. I mean, I know the base of the story, but then again, that's just one. That's like everything you want to know.
I wanted to talk about interesting topic, and then we can move on to all the other topics that we still not talking about. That Ghost game, that what is it? Ghost, not Ghost Recon. Something Ghost. There it is. It is. It's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. God damn, that's just sitting at 3 stars on Amazon, and I don't think you want to know what the Metacritic looks like.
56 or something like that. Right?
Yeah.
You saw that? Yeah.
What the fuck happened to that? Like,
what was wrong with that game?
It's a microtransaction fest.
Like, 15-20 million sold, right? And they just shit this one out for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
They should have just let fucking Division 2 just have their year and then just bring that out maybe a couple years later, because that didn't look like. I mean, I played the technical beta and the closed beta. For me, that was not good.
The game is just not polished, man. Like I was playing it the other night and I was limping at the beginning of the game and I was on a certain surface and they have like a 3-second sound loop. Like it's making the same sound every 3 seconds when you're walking. Like,
oh yeah, I know what you
mean.
mean.
What the fuck? Like nothing about this game is polished. It doesn't look that great. Like, what's going on? Like, what happened to this off?
It's the thing of like Ghost Recon. Like years ago, it was like Warfire, Future Soldier. Obviously, yes, it was linear, but like again, those games had an actual theme of themselves. Whereas now it's just like an open world. I don't know what the fuck they're trying to be now. I kind of feel like they should go back to the original format of like Ghost Recon, very like convert it back down to what it originally was, and focusing on that notion. Because I remember playing Warfire 1 and 2 on the Xbox 360, Future Soldier on the PS3. Those games were fun with friends. They were really fun. They were great, great experiences, co-op, and then obviously you had the multiplayer values as well, which I think remind me a bit of SOCOM as well.
Fuck though, it's like. You have chests now? I can go and open a chest and Ghost Recon and get a sweater that gives me +5 defense? Like, what the fuck?
I do have to say this, though. A lot of Ubisoft games are fucking checkerboard fucking games, man. Like, hey, listen, check this off your list and do this other thing. It's like, that's fine, but...
Did it work in Odyssey? Okay, put it in fucking Ghost Recon, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck is going on over there.
Look, Ubisoft, I don't like them for personal reasons, but most of the time it's a hit or miss with them. For real, it's like a hit or miss, man.
What's going on with Beyond Good and Evil 2?
That shit's next gen. That's a next gen title. It's way too ambitious for the consoles. What all they wanted to do, man.
It's not ambitious. They're just asking other people to make the game music.
I remember that. I also remember they said they were supposed to have a beta that nobody took part in that I heard about.
I don't know, man.
So where? Like that's the thing. Like we don't know where the game is.
Gameplay. They got like 40 minutes worth of gameplay on YouTube.
Damn.
The only game that I feel like, the only game that I played of Ubisoft generation that I've liked is Division 1 and 2 and Far Cry 5. Like, that was an okay game. But...
They've also got Skull and Bones, which is like kind of in limbo.
Yeah, where the fuck is that game?
I got delayed till 2020. This.
Oh damn it, Big Money! You didn't tell me you had gameplay until today. Fuck you, Big Money.
I mean, what like the other thing as well?
You couldn't even board boats in the game apparently.
Watch Dogs Legion looks pretty cool. If the idea is good, like, because again, I like the concept of having your own NPCs, be your players, but I hope that it's a sense of like
that shit looks
how
good
would
though.
it be
Beyond Good and Evil looks awesome.
Lives.
What the fuck? Where is it?
Beyond Good and Evil.
I'm looking at gameplay. I didn't even know they released this shit.
Oh man, this shit looks good.
I swear to God, I did not know they released this damn gameplay.
Yeah, same here. I didn't know either.
Again, they do. Ubisoft have done really well.
Oh my God, this looks amazing, man.
I mean, it's actual gameplay or is it the cinematic?
No, it's real.
No, it's
gameplay. They got like 42, 43 minutes worth of gameplay.
I put the link.
I'm telling you,
I put the link right there in the podcast, man. Go check the Discord, man. That shit look like how Star Wars was supposed to be. Like no joke, man. I'm not hyping it up. This is how fluid Star Wars was supposed to be, man. It looks really good. It's a nice ass dog fight.
E3 this year or was it last year?
This was from last year.
Oh wow, it is actual gameplay.
Wow, that's really nice.
Motherfuckers floating around and shit. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah. Man, they get it's some good gameplay in there, man. I just don't understand what's going on with the game.
What is it about?
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know anything.
It's a prequel. It's a prequel to the what's it called? That's one.
Oh, it's a prequel. Oh,
what is it? Yeah. What is it about? What is it about?
It's kind of like Star Wars, man. It's
kind of like corporations and like the underbelly of
pirate. You're a space pirate.
So y'all don't know what it's about.
A space pirate.
They're flying around the
I
ship
have
right
not
now.
played.
And you guys are right.
I don't know shit.
Can't wait to play it.
As long as I'm not delivering pizzas like Big Money, I'm good.
I played that game PS2.
Hey, I'm just asking the question. I don't know. I just want to know.
I don't know shit about this game, but the gameplay looks interesting.
You a space pirate and I guess you stealing shit and I don't know.
That's illegal. You don't know what it's about.
Wait. But Big Money, are you hyped to play it though?
Oh.
Yeah, I am. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Now we gotta get on you because you said Death Stranding. You know shit about, man. You know shit about Death Stranding, yo. You don't know shit about Death Stranding, but you ain't hyped to play.
Oh shit!
Put yourself in that trap, Big Money. I tell you.
Fuck the game up, man.
Looks like you got different ships and upgrades and everything too in here.
It's huge. It looks like a big game. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's weird. That's weird. This has been out and nobody's really talked about it.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about something. As you guys know, in the beginning of the year, they had this secret PlayStation event. There were 4 games: Days Gone, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, and Last of Us. So we got a lot of information for The Last of Us, including gameplay. Death Stranding's coming out, and it's not getting delayed. Days Gone came out. It did its job. The last game on that list is Ghost of Tsushima. You think we're going to get any type of an update? Because if we don't, it'll be a whole year without any type of an update.
It'll be next year.
I know it's coming out next year, but I'm asking, do you think we're going to get...
the update will be next year. I thought it would be February next year, but because of The Last of Us be coming out on that month, I think Sony will be pushing their events to maybe March or April.
Do y'all believe that game is not going to be on the PS4? That it's just going to simply be a PS5 title?
It's going to be.
I think it'll be cross-platform. Yeah, I think it'll be on both.
Yeah.
Wow, so this motherfucker's
I mean, because it's advertised, and it doesn't look like it's impossible to run.
Yeah, man, you can fly out of the atmosphere. And you know what? It's all seamless, man. You don't have. It's not no cutscene. That's what they say.
It's been done before, but not with this fidelity. Like this is like a
It's
AAA.
kind of like No Man's Skies in a sense.
Yeah, but better.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Well, so obviously
Yep.
different art style, but yeah.
See, y'all also got to remember, I don't know if this still is true or not. That guy that's heading the directing that game, he's the same guy. Wild. So I don't know if he's working on Wild and that game at the same time, but he is that guy that's he's doing both of those jobs.
Yeah,
Game, so
I think Wild is gonna be awesome. I'm looking at all these customizations and shit. This is a big game. This is interesting. I think this is gonna definitely come out after we got the next generation consoles announcement. So after next year's E3, this game's coming out. There's no way it's coming out in the first half. If it doesn't come out in the second half of 2020, it's definitely going to be pushed back to 2021. Again, being on the next generation of consoles. It's a very good looking game.
Hey, Jay. I'm about to bounce. Thank you for the invite.
Oh, no problem, man.
Diller, nice to finally meet you, bruh.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm out of here, man. Thank y'all.
Okay.
Great podcast, bro.
All right, bro. Take it easy, bro.
I got about 10 more minutes in me, brother. You got any other topics
Hey,
you want to
yeah,
cover?
man. I know we've been on a long time.
I wanted to ask you a
Yeah,
question.
we've been on a long time because you didn't get the fucking topic.
You sound like you're Jim Ryan sandwich right now.
Okay,
wrestling
There's
small
always a long
talk.
topic, bro. There's always a long topic with Xbox.
Okay,
Always is.
Red Dead Redemption 2 comes to PC. Does anybody care?
Nope.
Okay.
We played that shit a year
I'm
ago.
gonna torrent it.
I know, that's why I'm telling people that.
All PC fans enjoy that game because the shoot mechanics are shit.
Yep.
Thank you.
And the last, it's not the last thing, but I want to go share my screen because we actually never shared the screen today.
Nobody cares. Dealer, I had a question.
Oh, fuck you,
About the
man.
Game Pass, right?
He said, fuck you, I got a question.
Right, so for like, you mentioned it's going to be at some point, we're going to get all the games day and day one. When do you think that's going to be, or how soon do you think that would be?
I don't know. I just think it's inevitable, honestly.
Right.
I don't know. It's one of those things where I don't see it as a negative in any way. But
definitely from a consumer standpoint.
I mean, for me,
Yeah,
I
that's all I care about, right? I'm the consumer, so.
The whole Game Pass with Sony is going to be like, I can see them putting like their
Pass is freaking awesome.
sort of integrated titles day and date, but when it comes to like God of War and Spider-Man, I feel like they would want to hold them off for a bit.
But I mean, what's the minimum? A year, basically, a year and a half. Like,
Well,
what's
like a year and a half, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I just feel like there's other factors, man. Like again, the fact that you see everyone playing this game like more than you usually see, and you're like, what the hell's this game? And then they go look into it, and it's trickled down advertising as well. Like there's so many things that come with letting so many people play a game like that for such an accessible cost that, again, it's good for you and I. I'm not worried about their money. Neither are they. They've run the numbers. They're making the money.
A good explanation to this is when Days Gone came out, right? I remember hearing the initial aspects where it was like a buggy game, so on and so forth, which I didn't have. Because obviously there was a lot of updates being updated every fucking day. But the thing that I always consistently saw on Twitter was every single time I saw people uploading pictures of photo mode every fucking day. And like that's a bit. For photo mode specifically, as a little thing to be added on, especially with Spider-Man, people still do it to this day. And like I saw a lot of people take pictures of like Gears 5. Obviously they haven't got photo mode, but again they still try to take pictures of some environments that had those good like sort of impact moments. I feel like that. I mean, if Gears did have a photo mode, I would like to have seen that happen. Because again, I saw a lot. I feel like photo mode is a nice little way of showing people. These games are really good, man. They are.
Rod basically teased it. Photo mode is definitely coming to Gears. Not sure how in depth it'll be. A lot of games add a lot of processing to photo mode. It might just be a straight up, hey, here's a frame and take a picture. I don't know.
Exactly. If it's got the basics like field of view, exposure,
something.
it's fine. Like literally, that's what you need.
But you know what? It's one thing that I did say, and I know you're gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I do think that this was the first game just for this generation. People wanted to go out and get an Xbox because I got one. Yeah, it's no other game out there that,
especially for the
Microsoft put out this whole generation. Well, let me take that back. I did like Rise.
Mm-hmm.
That in this game, but this game had put y'all back in the forefront where I think people was like, "Hey man, fuck that! I'm gonna get me an Xbox to get this game." And you know, nowadays, man, it's not too rarely that you see somebody buy a $200-300 console for one game.
Yeah,
And
I
think
move in the
this
right
game
direction,
has
right? Big money. Like that's my point. Is right now I like what I'm seeing. I like the investment that I'm seeing more than ever. They're hiring on all fronts for all their studios. They've over doubled their studios. Like right now, unfortunately, we don't have a time machine. Like I can't speed time up and say if it's going to work out or not. But I have high hopes based off of some of their hires. Like the lead producer of God of War 2018, right? The Initiative hired that guy. I mean, they've got a lot of senior art directors from like Naughty Dog and all this stuff. Like they're hiring big people, man. They're not doing that to make little cheap dog shit games. These people are very expensive to maintain. So I don't know. Hopes are high. It sucks to have to fucking wait. I've said it year after year. I still play all the PlayStation games that come out, right? I got a PS4 Pro. And in the meantime, I'm kind of just waiting for more software from Microsoft so I can see what they're doing, like the rest of you, right?
So like Ori and the Will of the Wisp, that's coming to Nintendo too?
No, the first one is on
Just
Nintendo.
the first one. Okay.
Yeah. As of right now, that's all that's confirmed.
Right.
But it very well may. Like from what I'm gathering from the quotes, it seems like they're big AAA type games. Going forward, they're going to keep on just their ecosystem, right? Whereas the little stuff like I guess they say little Minecraft Dungeons is going to kill, but littler games like Minecraft and Rad and some of these other things like Psychonauts.
Let's say it's Tim Schafer's new game whenever that comes out. Would that be one of those games?
So yeah, Psychonauts is a crowdfunded game. It's already got obligations to go to PS4 as well, so that's going to PS4. You know, it's kind of complicated right now. It's murky, but what they want to do is lock it down to their service going forward.
Like the Initiative's project, Gears of War 6. I got you.
Yeah,
Forza.
The games that get people hyped.
Yeah.
Well, man, before you leave, man, let me say again, man, I really appreciate you coming out, man. I know after today you probably ain't gonna be back, but you know, at least
I enjoy it, man. I kind of thrive in this type of environment, believe it or not.
That was great.
I like that. I like that.
I mean, people people get the wrong idea, but never took the time to ask me a goddamn thing about myself. So I mean, it's a case of people make assumptions and don't really know. Same thing for my buddy Colt. I mean, you know, like it is what it is. It's a video game.
Man, put in a good word for me, then, man. Tell him to come. I know it's gonna be hard.
Oh God.
Put in a good word.
He's a busy guy. Big money don't know when to quit.
It was a good talk, for sure. Say what?
I need to get on Dilla's podcast, man. I need to have a talk with Cole and D-Bot.
D-Bot.
D-Bot, yo.
D-Batch. Yeah, big money, no problem, man. JayTech, it's good meeting you guys.
No problem, man.
Yo, Dilla, it was much love, man. It was much love, man. Yeah, it was nice meeting you, man.
No problem, brother. It's a good talk. We're not gonna agree. It's just video games at the end of the day. Like, and if anybody watches this shit, like, I'm not a fucking toxic fucking Xbot like these guys try to make me out to be. If you actually watch my shit, yeah, I fuck around with you know, hey, Sony guy said this. What do you think? Like, I do that shit like all of us do. Everyone in this podcast does it. But there's no toxicity there. There's no bullshit there. Proof's in the content. So if you actually watch it, you might see. But at the end of the day, good show, guys. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
That's what's up, Dill.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Take it easy, man.
Yeah, Dill, you have a good day, man.
All right, you too, bro.
Big money coming through with another contract. We should smack you in the face with a pizza.
Tell you right now, bro, that shit got a little bit.
Bring it on next Beyonce.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get Beyonce on that.
Oh shit, here we go.
I was like to myself, it always happens. You can't separate that shit.
Alone, leave Diller alone, man. Just leave him alone, guys.
We ended up talking about everything, though. To be honest, the only thing we didn't talk about is
man. Like, you know, like this is released. Like, it's just like we can get through that in minutes, Jay, man. We're fine with that.
It looks like Iron Man got delayed. It was supposed to come out this year. It was, and it did get delayed. It got delayed.
Yeah, it's February now.
Yeah, it's February 2020, which is the same month that The Last of Us comes out. But look, the one thing I gotta say I
Well,
really strongly disagree with him is the day and date bringing exclusives to the PlayStation Now, even if it's streaming. Sony's not gonna do that. They're not.
Like
doing
I said to you, Jay, man, I feel like the smaller games like Concrete Genius like that, maybe but games like God of War, again, these games that make that $60 games that make millions, like hundreds
But
of
let me
millions.
put it this way: if they start having like these time limits, I'm okay with that too. I don't care. Put God of War over there for 30.
For these time limit things, right? PlayStation's been doing it like since last generation with PS Plus when they've released shit on that service for free.
Exactly.
They've been doing it for a long time. Technically, it's just that Game Pass do it at a bigger like factor, right? They don't just release a couple of games that for free. They seek out deals to get them on their thing, and they implement them on.
In terms of current content, it's way better.
This is what I mean. Like, for instance, like Devil May Cry 5, right? When I played Gears of War 5, I was like, awesome. And then I saw that, and as a consumer, I like Game Pass, yes. But that's the sense of the consumer side. But when it comes down to like the studio, like, and you went to go and ask the studio, right? Would you rather, right, get like $60 per person? Would you rather let them spend like $1 for a pass? Like, I'll tell you right now, the studio would be like, no, fuck that. We want $60. We work again. You got to think of it on the aspect of individual people working in these studios, right? They work countless hours to bring these fucking games out to us. Right?
Microsoft,
the first party teams anyway,
and they sell those games at that price. It's kind of a fucked up thing, but at the same time, as long as they get paid, and they are not going to be closed down and shit's going to happen to them, they're fine with that shit. I mean,
That's why I was saying
Microsoft can do that because they make
the
more money, bro. As simple as that. They make more money. They're $1 trillion company, right? They make money. So this is
I said, bro, they need to do this though. That's
they do. But look, this is what I'm gonna say. If this didn't pan out, Adam, it could have been real bad for them. If people didn't bite on this could have been real bad.
I mean, Slick was mentioning, right, about Gears, right? Gears 1, 2, and 3 was they sold millions of units, right? Whereas Judgment 4 and 5, not so much. It went downhill. But obviously with Gears 5, it majorly went downhill because of the Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
People would rather spend $1 than buy that game, which, I mean, for me, personally, I think that's a bit fucked up because these people that are at Coalition worked in this game for fucking so many years, and people are just like, fuck it, I'll just buy it. They think of it as like a B movie in a sense, right? That doesn't deserve to go to cinema. It's just like, fuck it, I'll just buy it for $1. That should be the case. Like, Gears deserve to be a $60 game, and people, if they wanted to get this game, they should have paid that money. Obviously, like, that's a bit of a dick thing to say for a consumer, to a consumer, of course it is, but then again, it's business. Like, it's all around us. It happens. Even if we don't see it, it happens. And regardless, like, when it comes to big budget films, right, you always see on Google the budget and then the fucking domestic box office, right? And you look at how much like so and so film spent and then got back. Like, if you see that big profit like that, you're gonna be happy. Like, God of War was like roughly around 150 to 200 mil, I think it was, or 150. I forgot what it was now.
To make it?
To make it, I think it was like 100. It was over 100 million. I know that for a fucking fact. These games are not they're not cheap because they've got to go through. This money goes through development, goes through third-party aspects like music, advertisement, marketing.
Well, if it was 150 somewhere in that range, they made their money back. They doubled that.
Oh, 100% they made it like that because again, like $60, like 3 million units and $60, right? Somebody said like roughly around 180 million. Right, but then you go into the aspects of like it's succeeded that, right? It's gone further than that. Like, they are roughly they're near the 500 million mark.
It's still selling shit. Though. God of War is still selling. Still on the top Amazon. I think
that's the thing.
Top.
And the thing is, like what Dila was saying, the only way I could see PlayStation doing the whole day and date thing is if what they're doing right now, where they put it on for like a few months and then they take it off. But then again, like we talk about Game Pass and PS Now, you do not own these fucking things. You own the subscription service, yes, but you don't own the game. So if online is a big factor, right, which I experienced when I was playing Gears of War 5 on the Friday, when the network went down, I couldn't play nothing of Game Pass because it was all within that fucking part. So it's like, fuck. So if that was to, again, let's just say the network, right, is really bad, but you've got this great thing, that don't mean shit, because the networking is the thing that makes that, you know, keeps that ball rolling. Like, that's the only problem about Game Pass. You don't own this shit. You don't own any of these games, right? You just own like you only own the service. But as soon as that gets swept out, you know, swept underneath you, you don't own shit, my friend. You don't own nothing. That's you were renting that shit all along, and that's it. No, I rather if I mean, it gets like digital, right? You know, digital games. As long as like digital games allow you to convert your purchases onto like PS4, PS5, PS6, whatever, right? That's fine. But if like per se you went to next generation, right, one time, and they said you can't play any of these, you can't play certain games because you didn't own them, that's a bit of a fucked up thing. Everyone knows that. That's fucked up. You know, you want to own shit. That's why I keep on with my physical. I've got like a handful of games that digital, but yeah, man. But it's great talking to D-Law. He's a fucking great bloke. Like, obviously, he knows what he's talking about. You know, his head's on right. What he's talking about, 100%. I mean, especially when it comes to like.
But that's why I asked him. I said, "Yo, you had a 360," and he said, "Yeah." And I said to him, do you think this is in the right direction for them? Would they go? I said, I don't think you would accept.
Yeah.
The way they in the direction they're going now.
Yeah.
If because of the 360, yo. I don't think. I think you just accepted this because of what Microsoft direction is going. You got no choice.
Look, this is another thing, J Love. They have to accept it, cause see, they in control, bro. So it don't matter if they say, hey. Yep. If the Xbox brand gonna go down, it's y'all fault because y'all not buying games, and we're gonna do this anyway, or we're gonna try to save the Xbox brand by doing this. Right. You know, but either decision,
again, it's a different movement.
Exactly, it's a different movement.
No. But listen to what Jay just said. Jay just said, when I asked him, I said, "Yo, you had the 360, right?" He said, "Yeah." I said, to me, dealer, I think it's accepting this because that's where the direction Microsoft is going. Exactly. I said, you got no choice. I said, this is your preferred platform, so you have no choice. And he said, yeah, is this better options? I said, nah, it's not about options, man. That's bullshit.
Exactly. All I'm gonna say, bro, I don't know how Microsoft, being a competitor, how the fuck they gonna beat PlayStation next gen? We know PlayStation has games that we didn't see this gen. It's similar to the effect of Metroid. Remember? Metroid was missing with the N64. It came back strong with Metroid Prime. We missing a lot of games, man. And
I can say right now, the way Xbox will, I can see next generation be in the sense of Xbox will be steering in a different path, right, to PlayStation. That's how they're going to difference themselves next gen. They're not going to be like PlayStation where they're going head-to-head with these... When these games are being made by these companies are coming out, right, I can say right now, they're not going to be going head-to-head in that sort of way. I feel like it's going to be down to the service aspects, you know, the things that are accessible, and so on and so forth. Because that's what it is now, right? When you're playing games, you got all these accessibilities, these options within them to make people able to have more enjoyment of them, right? That's why we're hearing the subject of easy mode in every game and allowing people to enjoy a game. Because, there are people that are kind of talking about that shit. So when it comes down to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Scarlet, I see PlayStation doing what they did this generation, coming out with the games they've already established with their studios, right? As we all know. And then Xbox, obviously, they're going to be slowly sort of integrating these same games, right? Or these games that are being made by the companies, but they're going to be doing it in a different manner compared to Sony. And that's just what it is.
Yeah, Jay, you think they got no choice or what? They got no choice.
They don't have a choice. Like,
but here's the thing. I mean, we say this, right? But then
I'm not saying Microsoft, Adam. I'm saying the consumers, the fans. The Xbox fans, they have no choice. They have to look. If you're gonna be a hardcore, Exactly. If you're gonna be a hardcore fanboy, you have to accept what Microsoft is doing, and that's how dealer sees it. Hey, they're pivoting. Yeah. I have to fucking defend them on this move compared to they had exclusive Gears games. Well, I used to defend them there.
You have to.
Yeah, you have to. But it doesn't make it right. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make it right.
Team losing.
Y'all don't leave my friend Diller alone.
Shut that shit out.
Let me tell you something.
It's just the point of like
this guy over there watching Happy Time murders.
If your sports team is losing, right? Like they are like fucking, I don't know, 7-0. They haven't fucking won a game. You've got to live through that shit, or even the whole season they do really fucking crap. If you're a loyal fan, you've got to be with them. Like,
look, I've been looking at this Red Dead comparison. I'm sorry to cut it. I've been looking at this Red Dead comparison of New Austin versus the other the game and Red Dead Redemption 2 and 1, and I definitely believe they already geared up to we're gonna remaster Red Dead Redemption 1. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but. I mean, look, I think I've been saying it. I said it in debate yesterday. They definitely didn't make as much money compared to Grand Theft Auto 5, and they want to make more money. Whether they got to make it back
because of your online, Jay.
Huh?
That's the reason why.
Yeah, I know. Nobody gives a fuck about that shit this gen. It was fun last gen, though. I like it.
Yeah, when you compare Red Dead Redemption 2 to GTA 5, there's a lot of variables within those games, especially when it comes to the online. Like we always see
what the crazy. I'm so sorry about that.
You know,
and then the thing about that was, Adam, like they tried to treat Red Dead 2 just like GTA, but see, it doesn't work far as the online aspect.
No.
Well, no.
What? Now, I'm not saying it ain't shit to do in the old West. I'm not saying it wasn't shit to do, but it's not more fun than what you compared to. You can do the shit in GTA on their online system, and I think they thought they was gonna strike gold again.
But Adam,
online thing, and it just didn't work.
But Adam and JayTech, I ain't gonna front. Six said something. I should have brought this up though. Six said something that was true. He said when Gears wasn't exclusive, it sold more massive copies, which is true.
Well, yeah, it did. That's 100% true.
That is true.
Yeah, I think that just goes back to what you guys were saying. He's a diehard fan sticking up for his team, and like I really do think the proof was in the pudding, because Sick did come up with a lot of great things with the Spider-Man thing. Like,
yeah.
The thing is, I don't know why, because even as right now, if Microsoft came out tomorrow and said, look, y'all, we're going to go back to the old policy. Ain't none of our games going nowhere. We're going to have great games, and they stand only on the Xbox. It's not going to PC, not going nowhere. I guarantee 90% of the Xbox fan, damn near 99% of the Xbox fans, they're going to agree with it. That's their team. They're going to stick with their team, whatever they do.
The funny thing is, where Xbox is going right now, I feel, to be honest, they're going in the same sort of direction as, like, for instance, the company Dell. They own Alienware, right? They make rigs. They actually make computer rigs, right, that are designed around the basis of gaming consoles, right, or a gaming system. That's how I look at Xbox right now, where they don't have to make a Scarlet. They don't have to make an Xbox fucking box. They could easily construct a PC build which allows you to do everything you do on a PC, look on the internet, but also have the capacity of playing a game. I feel like at this point, they should really consider just doing that now, because again, obviously you're diminishing the aspect of Xbox, but you can still keep the Xbox controller keep going, like, reiterating on a new controller from time to time. You still got Xbox Live integrated with. You can still have that same thing with Game Pass and whatever other subjects things they got in their services. Like, that's what they're doing. They are looking to go in that direction. Whereas PlayStation, right? It's not so clear. Like, they, again, especially with this generation, right? Because, last generation, they got fucked by the architecture of the console, the pricing of the console, And, you know, that was a big fucking no-no. But here's the problem with that, the whole last generation. Even though that happened, what were PlayStation doing the whole fucking generation, that, you know, the whole last generation? They were building on their studios, making every fucking move they possibly could, going into knowing that the next generation is going to be different. And look what happened this generation. It all came out in a good fucking format. And then when it came to Xbox, they did the whole aspects of, oh, listen, we can assign a Call of Duty deal, a FIFA deal, Madden deal. We'll be fine with all this shit. We'll just release FIFA, Madden, and Halo. But what happened there? It bit them in the arse. They had no studios, right, to work on the future games for the next console. A lot of those deals end up fucking off to Sony because, again, the install base was there and it was evident. And they were left in the mud, like, fuck, what we got to do now? They started off from scratch. They fired a person, brought in Phil, which, to be honest, anybody could have done the fucking job. And the thing that I loved about what Dealer said was that, you know, he's not the guy that saved him. And I like the fact that Dealer is one of those people that can state that. You know, he's not the savior of Xbox. Honestly, he's not. Anybody could have come in and did that fucking job.
Anybody could have came in because all he did was reverse the roadmap. That was it.
Exactly. Like
all he did was say we're not gonna do it. That's all he did.
I'll say this right now, bro. If let's just say like Dealer was a part of Xbox, right? If he was in fucking charge, I'm just gonna say this right now, they would have probably already had 4 studios making brand new IP games that have already come out going into the next generation. Same thing with other Xbox fans that he hangs around with. They would have the same mindset. But the problem is, right, when it comes to Phil, he was concentrating on all these different factors. And the thing is, that's fine, right? You got variables, you got options. But sometimes options can be overwhelming. And that can misconstrue your fucking judgment on what you want to do. It's like I brought the aspect of Coalition, right? Make up your own fucking mind of the ending. Because we all knew, if you played Gears 5, we all knew what ending they should have went with, but they asked the fans to do it. But there was a sense of, why the fuck do you need to ask us? You're the guys making this game, not us. You have the ability to make it. Like, you know, if these decisions were being made throughout the whole game, I'll be fine with it. But it wasn't. It was one fucking decision. One. And it was like, again, like, you need to make these fucking decisions.
Sorry, man. I didn't mean to cut you off, bro. I got to go, y'all. I got to fix dinner, man. I had a great time. Once again, thanks for gaming, man.
I need a big steak dinner from you, Big Money.
Yeah,
big steak dinner, man.
Hey, you got that, buddy. You got that. You got that. Hey, man, I'm going to thank the panel again, man. Y'all already know, man. I got mad love. Hey, man, we got up to like 56, 57.
We got 60, man. We got 61.
Point, man.
We did good.
Hey, man.
It was up to 60. It was up to 60.
Good, man. And thank everybody that comes out and watch us, man. I know we be kind of early, but man, like I said, like I did on the other podcast, I owe this to these guys, man. They ain't been nothing but great friends to me, man, and I love these guys to death, man. I'm out of here, man. Y'all take it easy.
Okay.
Big money.
Okay,
You take care, man.
Hey, J Love, what you need to contact me on Discord, get in contact and get me on PSN, man. I'm about to I'm on this Last of Us multiplayer hard, man. That shit is fucking good.
Definitely. That shit is intense, man.
Adam don't want to provide cover fire, but it's all right. We'll get him later.
Well, dude, I'm done with my Destiny shit, man, so I might jump on that.
Let's do it. Okay, guys, you have my information. You have my PSN name. You have Twitter name. My PSN name is JayTechTV HD, the same name as Twitch. So I have 2 accounts, JayTechTV HD, and JayTechTV on Twitter. So all my contact information has been in the chat since the beginning of this stream, as well as it's been on my page. So go check my page out. Get in contact with me. If you want to be a guest on this podcast, let me know. You got to let me know before Saturday of any week. Okay? So if you want to be on next Sunday, you need to let me know on Saturday. Also, I got a family reunion next Saturday, so I will not be doing the PlayStation Legion gaming podcast at 1 p.m. next Saturday. But I'm off that following Monday because of Columbus Day, so I'll make that gaming podcast up on that Monday. The PlayStation Legion Sunday show will go as scheduled for Sunday, so don't worry about that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. I want to thank everybody on the panel. Big Money, he's gone. Sick Humor did a damn great job. Thank you for Dealer for even agreeing to be on here. J Love, Son of Sam, Petting His Cat, even Big Cloud Gaming was on here, and last but not least, the guy that can't provide cover fire if he even knew what it was, Adam fucking Core.
Yo,
Thank
Son of
you.
Sam,
You gotta learn yourself, bro. Put your
Shut up, Adam.
on the fucking gun.
If anybody knows how to point and shoot a gun, hit me up for that Last of Us.
Who's talking to me?
No.
You need to help Jay out on The Last of Us.
Yeah, I need cover fire.
I need to cover. All right. I got you, man.
Dude,
I
man,
got you.
he
I
needs
gotta
to learn
carry your ass.
himself, bro. He needs to learn to walk
Shut
on his
up.
own, bro.
I fucking do good now.
You got a crab
People
walk.
saw me streaming. I've been doing good. I was wrecking shop, man. Fuck out of here.
Crab walk, bro. He needs a crab walk.
I was fucking
got a crab
wrecking
walk.
shit. Okay, guys,
impatient.
I am about to go play Last of Us. That gameplay session will be streamed on Twitch. So I'll see you guys over there.
Monkey. Alright, cool.
Adam, you still suck.
Fuck you, man.
These
You
things are
monkey
gonna happen.
ass.
These things are gonna happen, buddy.